And your boy right in the South Bend, charges on the beat. Hello there, welcome to the program Spoon Talk. This is the most informative station program. It doesn't matter where you are, fellow Liberians. Most watched program in Liberia. And it pleases me to have all of you. It doesn't matter where you are, who you are. Let me say good morning, good evening, good afternoon to you folks. I'm Barra. And at the register, let me say good evening to you, Dr. Gibson.
Chairman Byron, how are you doing?
Well, I'm okay. Thank God, thank you. And I hope all is well with you as well.
Yes, I'm doing very well. I want to join you in welcoming our viewers and listeners to the show. You're right. This is the #1 talk show in Liberia and on social media. So just welcome everybody. Share the show if you haven't done that. But Byron, I'm doing very well. Just ran some errands, took care of my grandson today, did some work, So how's everything with you?
Well, it's okay. We can't complain. In the walls of James Goody Flomo that God money us.
I know.
Unquote.
I know. How's business?
Yeah, the business okay. We can't complain. Amidst all the difficulties, with your God, thank you for life, for everything.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna make it my business to visit a business the next time I'm in Liberia. So be ready for me.
Yeah, I'll put red carpet down for you, and you walk on that majestically.
Yes.
Yeah, you are admired. You are admired by many Liberian people, our citizens. You are loved, you are respected in our country, and I must say thank you, kudos for all of your hard work. You're a good woman.
Thank you. I appreciate those kind words, Byron. I really do. So what's going on in our country?
Well, so what is trending right now in the country is that following the, let's say, her arrest and subsequent detention of Justice Gloria Musu Scott, today she was, temporarily released by criminal court while a lawyer, filed in a writ of habeas corpus. I hope I'm pronouncing that well, and but it doesn't mean that the case is over, So she's home now. She's with her family, and this is what trending right now on the social media. The Liberian lawyer, and she's currently home.
Byron, hold on 1 second here.
Okay. Well, so folks, this is where we are. This is your program, Spoon Talk. Yes, Dada Ayiba.
Yeah, hold on 1 second. Let me just.
Well, folks, welcome to
sorry. I did see. I think it was Diamond was at the courthouse today. So I managed to follow what was going on. I'm sure we're going to go into it on the show, but it's quite interesting times for Liberians and for our justice system. It's all around sad, all over sad for good governance, sad for institutions in our country, sad for the family. It's sad, very sad. Yeah. It's been really on my mind since yesterday. It's something that as a Liberian you think about, and it's in our faces. So, well, we'll talk about it more. I'm sure I'm going to get the opinions and the thoughts about the case from the panelists. So that's going to be good. Anything else going on, Byron?
So, I mean, whenever I come here, I just love to, announce the trending news in the country, Like I
Mhm.
said, that's the biggest news in the country.
Mhm.
Uh, that's the biggest news in the country. The former Chief Justice Laura Musu Scout, her case, where she's covering it with her family this morning. She was escorted by, the police, to the court, and many people, political opponents, they are now giving their own views on what they predict, and about her arrest. So that's it. That's the most trending issues. And to also add up to this, I want to get another story here. Her son has also threatened a lawsuit against one of the talk show hosts in Liberia, who works at Freedom FM,
Mhm.
on the basis that he has been, slandering, allegedly slandering his mom's credibility. So
Mhm.
his son has said that he's going to take the guy to court on the basis of that. So these are some of the trending, issues that we have in our country. And the former finance minister of the Republic of Liberia, he has described Wama Kamara.
Mhm.
Yes, Wama Kamara. He has described the government harmonization policy as, redistribution of poverty. You know, these are things that the people continue to say, and he said that he worked in the Ellen Johnson Sirleaf regime, and he said that it is not in the interest of the Liberian people. So Boma Kamara, he has also criticized the government on its harmonization policy.
Yes, he was here last night. We had an opportunity to speak with him. So I'm sure he's going to be coming back again to talk to us more and just look at the facts and give us more information on what's happening in our country from an economic standpoint. So it was good to have him on. And if you're listening, Mr. Kamara, would love to have you back. There was so many there's a lot of unanswered questions that we still have. But again, talking to you for an hour or 2 hours is not enough to talk about our economic system in our country. Um, Okay, Bar. Let's see if we can welcome some of our viewers here today as we wait for Councilor Lamy Bakoy to come, as we wait for the former CEO Stanton to come in, as we wait for. I understand that Mr. Fagon's show started today, right?
Yes, yes.
Uh-huh. So as we wait for Mr. Fagon to come on, I didn't get a chance to listen to it. I'm sure we're bombastic as usual. As we wait for Mr. Jeru to come on, and Al Hussein, who am I forgetting here, and any other panelists that are scheduled to come on today, we'll be glad to go into some detailed discussions about the biggest news in the country, which is about Justice Gloria Musu Scott, Councilor Gloria Musu Scott. So that's the biggest news in the country. Everyone's talking about it. Um, all right, let's welcome some of our viewers here today. I want to welcome Ishmael Amara. Thank you, Ishmael, for joining us. J. Agnes Mulba, she's watching from Jalatown, Liberia. Thank you very much. June's Queen is also watching us. June's Queen, we are so happy to have you here today. Baker Ramsey also is watching us. Gibra, hold on, let me this stuff going so far. Maybe I knew I was on Gabriel. Gabriel Yalloway is watching from Pinsville. Thank you for joining us. If you're in Pinsville, I want to tell you hello and join the show, share the show. Kafuma Dunzo is watching us. Kafuma, how are you doing? Jimmy Eastman is also here. Thank you for watching, Jimmy. Please share the show. Uh, Kamo Fofana is watching from Philadelphia. Kamo Fofana, Mr. Fofana, Kamo, I believe that's a guy. Uh, thank you for joining us. Patrick Bima is from New Jersey. Thank you for joining us. Clarence Benson is from Hamilton, Canada. Clarence, thank you for joining all of the Liberians and passionate lovers of Liberia that are in Canada. I want to tell you hello and thank you for joining the show. Please share the show if you have not done so already. Godfrey Lamy Kadi is also watching us. Thank you for joining us. Samuel Samuel Wu. Okay, Samuel Wu is watching us from Boulevard Palace Hotel, Rooftop, Monrovia, Liberia. Samuel, thank you for joining us. It's a pleasure having you here. Uh, Cole, Gloria Boca Molba. Cole is always here. She's an avid follower. Cole, we thank you for being a part of the conversation that we have here. Thank you for joining us. Patrick Davis is also here. Patrick, thanks for being here. Eliza Taylor Morfoley is here from Barnesville. Thank you for joining us. Nakinu Green is also watching us. Thank you for being here. Lucini Jackson is watching us from Indiana. Lucini, thank you for joining us. Moses Moise Sion Jr. is also watching us. He says he's a pastor watching from Inside White Fence, Diversified Community Soul Clinic, District 4, Pinsville City, Liberia. Pastor, thank you for being here. Judith Sano is here. Thank you for joining us. Didesco Dobia Gue is watching from Maryland County. I like when people watch from Maryland, Grand Judah, River says those far away places, those places that seem so far away. I really appreciate you being here. Those areas are also part of Liberia, but I just like to see it because I often see Monrovia, Painesville, Barnesville, Sinker. So Abraham Kita is also watching from Canada. Abraham, thank you for being here. Let me just see who we have. Cornelius Hunter. Cornelius, hello, how you doing? Thank you for being here. Kim is watching from Ghana. We got people in Ghana, Liberians and passionate lovers of Liberia who are in Ghana. Thank you for joining us here at Spoon. Nathaniel C. David from Dubai, UAE. We got someone from Dubai in your house. Thank you for being here. All of you Liberians who are in Dubai, I want to just send a shout out to you. Thank you for joining the show. I also want to say, I think I skipped Marquise M. Elliott at Shark Junction, Airfield Shark Junction. Thank you for joining, Marquise. We appreciate you being here. Frederick Davis is also watching. Bonnie Fafoli is watching us. Charles Horace is watching us from Nuku Town, District number 16. I like it when people put a district. Guys, you guys, that means that you're politically informed. You know your district and everything. Yes, October 10 is around the corner, and all the citizens of Liberia, you guys need to know your district. You need to know where you're going to be your voting station and how you're going to vote. You got to be informed about the issues, and that's what we're going to be discussing here. So I'm very impressed, Charles Horace, and many of you actually who come here and tell us your district. Joseph Kabe is also watching. He said, I religiously follow from Safe Zone in Zoge. Nimakante, Nimakante, all of you in Zoge, come closer to the radio or your digital device. Thank you so much for joining us. And I say hello to you from the Spoon family. Godfrey Lamy Kadia is from Broadville. Thank you very much, Godfrey. I'm still waiting for my panelists to come on in to have a conversation with me. So we'll be joining. I'm actually going to recommend Mr. Fagon. He's usually on time, but the show got him coming in late. So, I'm going to recommend him. We're going to talk about our show there. Vakashas M. Krumar is watching from Geneva. Alex T is also watching from Silver Spring. Alex, hello, how are you? James Lomax is watching from Cardwell, Liberia. James Lomax, and all of you guys who are in Cardwell, thank you so much. Janetta Russell, watching from Rhode Island, USA. I'm just reflecting, Barbara. I went to visit Cardwell. My husband has family in Cardwell. And before I went there, they kept on talking about this Broad Street. They kept on mentioning this Broad Street. And the only Broad Street I know is in Monrovia, Central Monrovia. So I finally, they have a Broad Street in Cardwell. So I finally made it to this wonderful Broad. And I said, is this the Broad? I'm like, I thought the only grocery they had was in Central Monrovia. I said, no, God, also
No,
in Kawaya. I said,
I,
oh,
I think in one of the counties they have Broad Street as well, not only in Morovia.
mhm,
Yeah, I have to do my research. But in one of the
mhm.
counties, they also have Broad Street.
But
You
I
have
thought it was
Tubman
just,
Street. You have Tubman Street in Grand Bassa.
mm.
Is that also no? Yeah, Tubman Street.
But that was so funny because, like, we have family members who grew up there, and for them, that was their Broad Street. And for me, Broad Street is in Central Monrovia. That's the only Broad Street. I didn't grow up in Monrovia, but that's the only Broad Street I know. So they kept on talking about Broad Street too. When I finally made the visit, it was like, oh, this is some pathway they call street. It's called. Oh, I should have said that pathway, right? The
Mhm.
people on Broad Street. Yeah, my husband. Actually, I'm talking to my husband basically. That's how I joke with him. So, but I'm not, talking with Cardwell. Janetta Russell, watching from Providence, Rhode Island. Hi, Janetta. Pearl Campbell is watching. Hello, how are you doing? Ruben Duade Mayon is watching from Concord Monrovia. Ruben, hello. Samuel Cook is watching from Minnesota. Samuel, hello. Amar Mafata is watching from LPRC. Thank you so much. Ernest Johnson is also watching from Linham, USA. Thank you for joining us. I have another person watching from Dubai. Eden Moore is watching from Dubai. Um, Cash Young is also watching from Ziontown Community ELW Hospital Junction Road. I know exactly where that is. ELW Junction Road. I was just there, I believe, in January. I was there, yeah, around ELW Hospital. I was also born in ELW Hospital. Comfort Dulo is watching us from Montana, Great Falls, USA. Thanks for joining us, Comfort. Finley's son Grinka is watching us from Buchanan City. We got Buchanan in the house. Thank you so much, all of those who are in Buchanan. Thank you for joining us. Carl Logan is watching from West Africa. Okay, that's different. Carl, thank you for joining us. Say M. Denshen, I believe, is watching from Minnesota, USA. I hope I say your last name correctly. Denshen, I think. Um, and Thomas Gotojui is watching from Kakata, Margibi County, Liberia. All right, so we're gonna just welcome all of you to the show. Participate in the comment section. We appreciate your thoughts and your comments. And I'm gonna circle back to Chairman Byron, and then I'm trying to hold my peace about what I think about the verdict.
Mm.
Well, not the verdict, but because there was no verdict, but what I think about the situation that happened in Liberia today. But I'm trying to come and have a conversation with my fellow panelists. But yeah, but all is well so far. So besides that, Bar, what's going on in the country? I know I'm trying to. I see that yesterday we started to talk about the LACC nominees, which is the anti-corruption institution. The legislators, mainly the Senate, did something yesterday that was very powerful. They actually did not want or they stopped the nomination of the nominees that was sent to them by George Weah to lead the LACC. So I thought that was very powerful. That was really good and a big thing that happened um, yesterday. Oh, finally, I get somebody here with me. Hi, Mr. Jerry. How you doing?
I'm feeling good. How yourself?
I'm doing well today. How did your day go?
Well, as usual, I'm busy in the office here, busy. But
Yeah.
the events of today, I mean, I'll continue to attract my attention.
Mhm.
Yes, actually, we can talk about it. I was waiting for Councilor Lamy. I think he's running late today, and I was also waiting for I think the former CEO if he's going to be joining us. And
Yeah.
I also see that Mr. Falcon is already late. He started his show today, so
Right.
he's slipping up on coming to his home base. So I'm gonna recommend him. I'm gonna give him.
Yeah, he need to be just.
I'm gonna put him in the corner. Yeah, yeah. But so we can begin the conversation, and I guess there's so much to talk about. What are you thinking? I'm just sad. I'm sad. It's a sad day once again for for good governance, for justice, for policing, for the citizens of Liberia. It's just a sad day, no matter how I slice and dice it in my head. What are you thinking?
You know, yesterday, if you remember, I said this case
Mm-hmm.
could break or make the government. In my wildest imagination, I cannot fathom how a high-profile individual, a former probate judge for many, many, in fact, she probably was the longest probate judge, a former Justice Minister, Attorney General, and Dean of the Supreme Court, and former Justice and Chief Justice of the Republic of Liberia. You are going to arrest this person. You are going to charge this person with a crime, and you do not have the crime written. You do not have a writ of arrest from a competent court of jurisdiction, and you arrest this person and detain the person at your headquarters without charging the person to the extent that a habeas corpus can lie. I just don't understand. The justice minister in these kind of cases, especially involving a very high profile individual, the justice minister will have interest in this case. The solicitor general will have interest in this case. It's not going to be left to the county attorney or the city solicitor. They're not going to be left to them because this is a breaking point of the government. This will break the government or make the government. How can you arrest such a person and you do not, before you even decide to invite her, I will have my charge sheet ready. I will have my charges ready. When you appear in the presence of your lawyer, I present you with the charge sheet. I present you with the writ of arrest. Everything packaged, waiting for you. But no, the police will not do that. Then the reason why they didn't do that is number one will be incompetence. We can say that to incompetence because someone who is competent, you would think about all of these things first. Its qualification may be there. Maybe you qualify, maybe you get a degree, maybe you are trained. But competence speaks a lot to the person's job. You would think about all of these things. Now the person is coming. We're going to invite the former Chief Justice. And what are we going to do? Are we going to charge her right away when she comes to the station? Are we going to give her our charge sheet, our writ of arrest? Are we going to, file the charges tomorrow morning? All of these things you think them through, but no, they didn't think them through. So incompetence is one of them. But there's something else I'm thinking here.
Mm-hmm.
I think they are playing game, and this will come from the top of the Ministry of Justice. I think they are playing game with the Liberian people. They are playing game with Madam Muscat. They are playing game with themselves because this kind of case, I don't get it. This case, and you verbally charge the person,
Mm-hmm.
and the lawyers are arguing to the judge and saying she was verbally charged. Can you imagine? It is just beyond my understanding. I'm not a lawyer, but I have followed the legal field for long. I did my paralegal for 4 years and all of that, but that doesn't equate to being a lawyer. But I have understood that lawyers and police, the justice system, they have to be meticulous in bringing people. There's not somebody simple, not somebody from the street that nobody knows about. You think so? Are you thinking that Muscat will just go and just do what you want to do? That's not possible. This is a disgrace to the justice system.
Absolutely.
This is a disgrace to our country, and people outside the country today have seen how incompetent our police, our justice department, they are.
Yes. Mr. Jiru, I agree with many of your thoughts on this case. They have 4 months since February 22nd to process, to go over this case. That you said, ask all of the right questions, think outside of the box. That's what when I heard you say, they should have asked themselves, okay, are we going to charge her today? What if we don't charge her? What our charge sheet should look like. And none of that was done. None of that. I mean,
But something else happened. If you observe, they arranged an elaborate press conference.
Yes.
To demonstrate their findings of why they are going to bring her in, of why they are going to charge her. An elaborate press conference. And in the face of the press conference, there's no charge.
Yes, yes, it's hilarious, but at the same time very serious. Mr. Fagon, I want to welcome you to the program. I was just getting fast with you. I said I was going to give you, recommend you for coming.
I will suspend you on the job.
Yeah, I was going to give you some kind of suspension on the job because usually you're on time, but because you had your show here today, I heard that you had your show, so you're trying to make us your stepchild now.
That's one making me laugh. I have a friend, I found this show that Gibson.
Yeah, Gibson friendly because you refuse to show up on time.
Gibson knee in the back of the world. In the back of the world we live in, Gibson knee.
No, what's his name?
We call Gibson Scorpion.
Oh.
No matter what good you do for him, it is his nature. You know how a scorpion looks, right?
Yeah. The strike, yeah.
The poison is in the back of the tail. And if it's happy, it bring the tail like this. And it will still hit you. If it's sad, it still bring the tail like this. It is his nature.
Hey.
Gibson, where you taking to be your friend? He will soon strike you. Because it is his nature. It's not because he need to do it. He just got to strike somebody before the day end.
So that should tell you they should be here on time.
But fortunately, I don't strike women because I like women business. So
there we go. See? So like that only you the strike will go to that.
Please don't make a mistake. During his journalistic profession, he struck over 8 women, including Ellen Johnson Sally, Frances Johnson Morris.
Oh.
He drinking Martin Dew now. I just want to make profile.
Now the young Gibson, maybe they knew and improved.
The gray hair beer Gibson change now.
2.5. Gibson.
No matter how old a scorpion is, it is his nature to sting. Man, a scorpion, you will sting. Nothing can stop it. But anyways, yes. Thank you. I did my show today. People say, how you manage? I say, you ain't even know. One call ready for you to deliver a nation, he will give you strength. I had my show today. It was very interesting. It was well received by the Liberian people. Our missed calls on WhatsApp when we opened the call lines, 10 minutes for the show to end. We opened the call lines. Our missed calls on WhatsApp were over 370 something.
What?
Yes. We're not talking about the regular lines alone.
What?
We had a topping of about 4,300 and something. The Liberian people love the facts that we're able to present. And your number one partner, the hijacker, came to hijack the show. The people had to tell me he hijacked you.
You know something? I can't wait for you to come because I was out for a second today and somebody called me because I was busy, so I didn't see the show. They said, Central hijacking the show. Fucking show.
The hijacker came to hijack. The people put it behind him. But again, it was all fun. We enjoyed it. He was on. I mean,
absolutely.
Him and I, we did a great production. The people enjoyed it. Then the people said, you must be bringing Stanton here. I said, that's Stanton show. I ain't go with
this one.
Stanton show that I want y'all see me on where he can be hijacking that of Francine. I'm a show.
That's true. He can hijack you too.
Yeah. But I met you in the middle of a conversation and, there he is.
No. You can't spell my name and you say I met you in the middle of conversation. You can't do that.
Who met her in what middle
You
of conversation?
beg. No, you just
Do not
said. You said I
hijack the
met you
show.
in the middle of. No. You begged me to come on your show to increase your ratings and
I
to
see you.
introduce. Yeah. So let's say you begged me, my man. I got text message of proof.
Oh,
Uh-huh.
Okay, put a text message. Oh, put a text message.
Uh-huh.
yeah, I feel you.
We'll reserve it for the court time.
I know.
No,
right?
no.
The messages
No,
for the court.
we'll do this thing now because you see, I
Hey,
got text message. Listen,
Hey, you are police people.
this is
Oh,
Fagon.
that's really my topic. Yeah.
Wait, I beg you,
I
this
told
is
you the man will
Fagon.
spoil your show. You believe
This
me.
is Fagon. Look at Fagon begging me. My man, can let's have fun on the show? I said, okay, 30 minutes. He said, my man, I'm going to pee. I'll be right back. That let me say, you know, let me
Okay,
message
what
this,
time
you know.
was it then? What
Yeah.
time?
Yeah, you can't. What? And I'm
What
talking.
time was it? You said I'm begging you. What time?
Oh no, they want not for you. They want for Joel. They say Alabama and the 40 T's. Oh, they want not Joel. They want not you.
Oh,
They
man.
want not Joel.
Look, that friend, see if I can tell you.
But, okay, we're not alone. Yeah, let's go back to the topic.
No. That I'm friend say. No one
Yeah.
put that to the Joel. It go. They put that powerful. But listen, lawyer. They say Alabama and the 40 T's. Look at Joel laying back.
And the thing about that picture is the time the lawmakers
Oh,
they announced that
I hope
46
we-
lawmakers
I hope
were
we have
going
it.
to
Yeah.
endorse him. So they put that when and put a picture in the chair laying back, and the 46
Yeah.
lawmakers they put
Michelle,
it on
didn't-
there.
I didn't
Eh?
see this though. I didn't see this, Fagon. You,
Alibaba and the 40
Fagon,
thieves.
you send it to me, Fagon. Why you send me this thing?
But now, how the people that can send it? Alibaba and the 40 thieves.
I mean, not Alabama, man.
No, but somebody sent it to me too, so I share the phone with you.
Nah, that war best, man. That war best. European
No,
best.
that other
African
picture
best.
you looking at, where you see Alibaba and the 40 thieves. Look at the lawmakers. I don't know where did you get come for the face all the things.
I
They
tell
are
you.
creative. They are creative.
Hey, listen
Yeah,
to this
creative.
other one. When I was fired, they
Mhm.
put me in khaki short trousers with white shirt with a donut basket on my head. You can see me selling to. They said, "Do you get mad?" I said, "No, I don't get mad at all."
You got this.
I'm afraid.
No, but
But
why
anyways-
listen. Why you want to get mad though? People
But
are
I need
allowed
someone to
to
get that.
say, Fagon, this is me. That's what Richard saying. Mr. Jerry, listen to this. For
Why
me,
you can't in our experience? You give me chance.
Amen. Now your show. You remember you told me that thing in the morning. Now your show. For me,
Hey, hijack.
I will say this.
Mhm.
Say anything you want to say about me. I ain't gonna get no. I will not get vexed. Keep saying. The thing we're doing is for country. Don't be surprised if they got to go ahead and create their own form and create anything they want to do. You just got to stay the course because you know why? People want to distract you. They want to take your eyes from the ball, and everybody, the focus should be on President George Manawea.
Mhm.
The focus should be on bad leadership. Do not be distracted. The focus should be on the fact that Samuel Tuah have lied again and again and again. Can you imagine Samuel Tuah paying people just to go and say bad things about us? I care less. Me, I don't see it. I don't go after it. I will keep the course. I will stay my course on this one. I will keep focus.
Yeah.
That's exactly what you need to do. Do not be, listen, amen. Hey, Liberia. Don't be distracted though. The more they talk about you, you are working. The more they talk about us, we will ask questions. Why you guys drag Madam Gloria Musunska to the Liberia National Police and Court? We ask questions. Why you guys saying that she killed her daughter? What the reason she going to kill? The more they talk about you, we talk about bad governance. The more they talk about us, we talk about the 25 million that was stolen from the Liberian people. We talk about the death in the country. Like Fagogan's sake, the extrajudicial killing. We will talk about it. The more they talk about us, we will talk about Joel 18 mansions that he built and building with the Liberian people money. The more they talk about us, We will dig deeper into cemetery mansions he had built in Ivory Coast, and what that which he's building in Liberia. Samora Wodokori mansions he built on the expense of the Liberian people. The rest, $1 million, $11 million that the Lions said they gave rest importers. We'll talk about it. The abject poverty, we will talk about it. We would talk about this issue. We would not be distracted. Say anything you want to say about me. It's okay. It's fine. But I will keep my eyes focused on President George Manneh Weah, Samuel Tuah, and bad governance and bad leadership. And those people that call themselves opposition, you got to make up your mind. You cannot serve two masters at the same time. The Bible says you either hate one and love the others. So you have to decide where you are. You cannot be jumping with where people that are the pain. Then you say you opposition. No, they are not opposition, my friend. They are doing the George Manneh Weah bidding. And you're sitting there and you're celebrating and say it's okay. So for me, in my house, like Joshua said in Joshua 24:15, we will serve the Lord. But I will say this to the Liberian people: we keep our eyes focused on the truth, and we will discuss the issue. They can get vexed, they can insult, they can say what they want to say. I'm okay with it. After the show, I eat my food. Like I was telling Fagon last night, I cook a nice peanut butter soup. That's what Richard say. Very nice peanut butter soup. I took the dry resin, I put butter on it, and I stirred it. Then then I get the peanut butter soup, sit down with the chicken, the shrimp, and the beef in it, and some dry pork fish. Yes. And I put my Netflix on. Fagon was calling me, and his soul was just say, I put Netflix on. Guess the movie I watched? Extraction 2. Go on Netflix. It just came out.
Oh, yeah, Extraction 2 now?
Yeah, Extraction 2. Oh, my man, I was eating and I was watching the movie. So now I finished eating, sleep carry me. When I go low, my wife woke me up. The movie was over. I said, "But I gotta watch it again." She said, "You on your own? Well, that movie over." But that's life. You think we care for, we care about Tabata? People talking nonsense. This is Liberia we're talking about. And I'm not here to hijack the show, but Fagon pissed me off. After he begged me this morning to come and help him, I was sleeping. He said, "My man, hurry up." Then he sent me Alabama in the 40th. What do I have to do with Alabama in the 40th?
People can beg you for everything, but nobody can beg you to come on show for that.
Alabama. How about you?
Oh, okay. Hey, see it.
I really do your show, man.
We go moderating.
Yeah. They say we come already.
Fire.
I know.
I'm very dry.
Who make Councilor Lami back up my again? You can't serious. Councilor Lami, you lost the case. You cannot get mad. You lost the case. You lost the case today.
Which case we lost?
You took the woman to the Supreme Court and you lost the case. You sent the woman back home. You took her to the Temple of Justice and you sent her back home.
Criminal Code C.
Criminal Code C. You took her there.
So
I saw you on the video.
I don't
Man,
work
we
for
saw you on the
government.
video, man. Your
I saw you on the video.
Your legal
I
gun
saw you.
drop.
Don't do that. I didn't go anywhere around the court today.
You were there. We saw you. Your coat. You had your coat like that on your hand with some big book or something with something like that. Then
Yeah,
somebody said,
in a black brown bag that you carry every day.
I don't carry my law book. I carry to court is my phone. I got everything there.
no wonder why you lost the case.
The people who can be show body, the people who can be show body are the ones that can carry the book. I don't carry a book because everything right now is electronic. It's right there. So
We
you don't have
got
to be a book with you.
We have a couple of them. But Councilor Lami, we come to the case issue. And I think Jerome Verder is asking to appear on Saturday. He started up at his job and he will be appearing on Saturday. But folks, it's very strange, man. Come on. Councilor, I want to bring you in on this one. Before I do that, let's hear from Fagon. Fagon, you were about to speak about this issue. But something strange and bad is happening in the country. Very strange. They booked the woman yesterday. They did everything they wanted to do. They came up with a fake, what press conference, and they sent her home. Then they come back again. Police spokesman said, will we arrest her again? Let me hear Fagon, then we can go to the legal mind person, Councillor Lami Pako.
Well, you see, I've always said, Stanton, George Weah does not like smart people around him. And sorry to say, but the ignorant ones around him will do everything to prevent the smart people from being around. And I say this out of experience, not out of they say or analysis. I go back to Jeru hitting the nail right on the head. You know this woman is coming in 10 o'clock in the morning. You know you got plans to arrest her. Your press conference is supposed to be set. The moment she enters, you go through 1 or 2 hours, you know then there is an arrest. So Mose Carter comes outside and says to the public, yes, she's come in. She's in our custody. We've read to her Miranda rights, and we have effected an arrest. Investigation continues. We'll continue to brief you all. Nothing like that happened. 2 hours, 3 hours. Then you leak to your government radio stations and what have you, operatives in the media, that she's going to be charged on 3 counts. So they run with it on social media. We all knew it already. Spoon and all jump into the gossip. We enjoyed it. Then you kept her there after 3 p.m., 4 p.m., 5 p.m. Then they ask you, is she arrested? No, she's undergoing investigation. If you did not arrest her, why did you read to her Miranda rights? Then they came up, they said she's not detained, she's undergoing investigation. When your liberty is seized, you are detained. Then they turned out in the night, they came up to say, hey, the law provides for 48 hours. But the 48 hours is after an arrest or during a detention. So how is it? Look, you know what? The next government account of power should fire every police officer in the hierarchy. Because it's just common sense. I didn't arrest you by holding you. I didn't detain you, but you're sleeping with me here tonight. If she was not detained, she would have left. If you did not arrest her, you would not have read to her Miranda rights. Then on top of it, this kind of high-profile case, you take her slipper, you put her in a police cell.
I heard that.
That's humiliation.
Yes.
Then at the end of the day, they ask you, since you were in your detention, did you feed her? Or her family brought her food? Her family was not the one to have fed her. She was in your custody and your detention. So then, a writ of habeas corpus is served. And guess what? Just like Article 21G says, and I'm saying it again, it's right here, it's so short, very short, just 2 sentences. Article 21G, the right to the writ of habeas corpus being essential to the protection of human rights shall be guaranteed at all times, and any person arrested or detained, the 2 key words there again, arrested or detained and not presented to court within the period specified may in consequence exercise that right. From February 22nd, you have been going to the woman, investigating her. It's constructive detention. When I have to sit down and talk to Mela Lamik Pagor, well, I ask you one question, 3 different ways. It's a form of detention. I should be going about my business. It's a form of arrest. 5 months now, you have called her into that particular police station. You have her there the whole day. We saw it. She came us, Valley Teller, then came us too. So what do you want to do? At the end of the day, this is the premise on which the court laid. And that was Article 21F, when the court follow Article 21F that states that every person arrested and detained, the two words again, shall be formally charged. And Gibson, causing and I working to the police station, they say they charge the woman verbally. What kind of English is that? Shall be formally, look at the word, formally charged and presented before a court of competent jurisdiction within 48 hours. Should the court determine the existence of prima facie case against the accused, it shall issue a formal writ of arrest, setting out the charge or charges, and shall provide for a speedy trial. They went before the court now. The court said, what a prima facie, what a probable cause, what do y'all get? I will speak like English. They not get nothing.
Fusa.
Fusa. F-O-K. They not. The court said,
yeah, man. When you born with your mouth open, you started crying. Immediately, you came on earth. You started talking.
When you are hijacking. So let me on this 30 seconds note. So then the court said,
2 minutes, Gibson. 2 minutes, the man guy, man, I said 10 minutes.
Now 10 minutes. That the one that made me laugh in the whole case. The court asked the government, Lami Pago them with a gun in the hand. The court asked them, what is your get? They said, no, we charge a woman verbally. The court said, be that one. You're detaining the woman. Why you get? No, she's before court. Why you get? My sister, Fusa, they never had. The woman, they said, madam, go. So now, when I come back, me and Lami Pago will go back and forth on the
when you come back
process.
When you come back, let's bring in Lami. That's what Rich is saying. Lami, give us your overview of this whole thing, because you are a counselor at law. So talk to us, please.
So the facts of this case that are known to the public are the same facts that I know. I do not work for the government. So I don't know the details here. I don't work for the government.
My man, allow her to throw something on you small now.
But why you want me to work? Why you want to expose me to danger from other people?
No, you're right. You're right. Don't do that.
They probably be thinking that.
Don't do that. Yeah.
My brother,
The government probably knows something. The government probably knows something that the rest of us do not know. And if they know that thing, then they probably have a case. But for all the facts that are currently available, I don't think they have a case. I don't think so. But maybe they know something that the rest of us do not know. Okay. So let me just address a few things that were said. This misconception that the police have the right to hold people for 48 hours is a big lie. The police do not have the right to hold people for 48 hours just for the sake of holding them. The Constitution says the person should be charged within 48 hours. So I told somebody today that you've been investigating the matter for 3 months, right? It's a felony you want to charge a person with. There's absolutely no reason for that spectacle that happened yesterday. There was no reason for that spectacle. They have sufficient time to take the evidence, present it to a grand jury, and for the grand jury to return a true bill or a break bill in the Ramos. They have enough time to do that. If they had done that through the grand jury system, they will have, what they would have been doing yesterday was to call Councillor Scott in if they really thought they had a case against her, present her before a court, read the charges, the indictment to her, she would plead, and then from there the court would decide whether she gets bail or not. Because even though it's murder, the law says if the evidence, if the presumption is not great, if the evidence is not strong, the person can have the right to a preliminary examination where bail can be determined. So you push it to the court. You don't make it a police spectacle. And I think that was one of the major errors that they made. I mean, what's the use of having, you have a whole lot of people deployed all over the place.
They had a police press conference today, didn't they?
There was really no need for that. Absolutely no need to decide to just hold overnight, and then you have people do habeas corpus. Habeas corpus is not the right way to settle that matter. If they think that the evidence of ignoramus, meaning that you cannot proceed, and in the US, when the US government decided to, when the special counsel decided to charge Mr. Trump, they just grab him, put him in jail, and then before charging him, they prepared the indictment, got the indictment, a true bill, and then they charge him. That's what you do. And that should be the situation for everybody. This is some of the reasons why we have people, people just grab people, throw them in jail. Sometimes,
Councillor, let me ask you a question. Councillor,
yeah.
let's do this for the sake of Liberians out there. You work in the system, whether you work for the government or you work as a private lawyer, you work in the system. So let's just ask you this question. Who really lying to the president? Because this is election season. The over $100 million drugs case, there is nothing concrete from the justice minister. As of now, we know he's not in the country. Who actually advising the president legally? Can we go to Archibald Bernard? Is that his name? Or who is there if it is not Justice Minister Musa Dean? Who told the president that we are going for? Because it's a high-profile case now. You are talking about a former Chief Justice now. Well, I'm not let me finish. No,
Yeah.
Fagon. No, Councillor. This is a backdrop of how the people see the president. And you understand what I'm saying? This is the government, and the president is the chief executive. Everything we learn at the president's feet. So you cannot say we cannot involve the president, though. When the $100 million drugs case came out and it's exonerated those folks, people blame the president and the government. And now you went after former Chief Justice, former Justice Minister, former Senator, former NEC boss, and you drag her to the Liberia National Police, drag her to court. You think who they're going to blame, Councillor? Who, I mean, in your own way as a councillor, who does he listen to legally? Is he approving these things? Is he saying, okay, you guys can go ahead, you're arrested woman? So I want you to just talk to Liberians from that endpoint. If it's disturbing in the election season, though.
No, in a properly run society, the justice system should be shielded from the political actors. The justice should never be an issue of political decision. Never. I mean, if somebody is a prosecutor and that person has to make his decisions because he has to satisfy some kind of political whim, then that person is not deserving to be in that position. We should never tolerate it. To even continents that somebody will go to Mr. Weah and say, let's charge another person with a crime. I mean, that person, him or herself, should be the fit and proper subject for prosecution for misusing public office. If that person is a public servant, the justice system should always be shielded from the political actions. Because if you allow justice to be mixed up with politics, soonest what you're going to have is people will be taking decisions against other people because if they are their friends, so they will only prosecute people who are their enemies, their political enemies, and then they will let their political friends go free. A couple of years ago, you saw what happened to Menipeke Dumoy, right? Dumoy. You remember what happened to Menipeke Dumoy? That was a key when I saw the video online that day with Menipeke being handcuffed and paraded around. It reminded me of the stories my father used to tell me about the Tottenham regime, where they used to give people not parade. When you are not in when you go against the government, what they will do is they will arrest you, they will strip you naked and walk you on the streets of Monrovia for people to see you naked. They have people who they will give them feces.
But you're making my point. You're making my point now, Councillor. You're bringing Menipeke Dumoy up. You bringing the $100 million drugs case up. You bringing other extrajudicial killing, and you are telling the Liberian people the president just sitting there and he's not asking questions. Don't you think he should call his law enforcer, call the Liberian National Police boss, call Justice Minister, call his advisor, and inquire? That's my point I'm making. If these people are incompetent, why can't you get rid of them? Why keep them that they will bring such a disgrace to your administration? That's the point I'm making.
I mean, the issue of somebody's incompetence is a political decision for people who are in positions that they serve at the will and pleasure of the person who is the leader, right? That's a political decision. So if he thinks they are not doing the work the proper way, he can fire them. That's not for me to see. But my point basically is that if it is the president that will be deciding, if they have to charge somebody with a crime and they have to go to the president and ask the president whether they should charge that person with a crime, then this country is sliding down a slippery slope. That slope has existed forever. Consistently, governments have come and governments have gone with that same behavior. We saw, let me just close on the point. We saw in during the Salim regime, they decided to prosecute some people from Grand Jide. They said for mercenarism or stuff like that. They had absolutely no evidence to convict those people. Councillor Gombe was the Solicitor General at the time. He decided that he would not participate in that case because he didn't think that the government had any case. So it's the same thing with these prosecutors today. If somebody has a totally circumstantial case, why should you put your name, your reputation on that matter when you know at the end of the day there's no case? Because you are the prosecutor, you will judge the work the police did. So that's the point I'm making. Justice should never be an issue of political decision making. It should never. They should always be separated. That's the point I'm making.
But my point is, I thank you, Dr. Richardson. Let's bring in Gibson. I understand you saying that we shouldn't separate it, but it's kind of so, with our own group, our people in Liberia, Mr. Gerald, it's confusing. The people will sit there and say, this in a job manner we are doing it. You understand what I'm saying? I know we come to this last example Councillor gave because people throw blame on Tewon Gonglo for that thing under Madam Salif government when they falsely accuse the people from Grand Jide. I have the whole document over here. They say Tewon Gonglo, and we discussed that at the appropriate time. They throw blame at him, and they had him responsible that he was trying to side with the government for the people to lie on themselves. But we'll discuss that later. But on this issue, don't you think? No, Councillor, give me a chance now. Councillor, give me a chance, Baker. We'll come to you. I just want to say to Gibson, though, don't you think this thing fall at the president's feet? Don't you think this thing is about President George Manneh Weah? That he's allowing those incompetent folks to run the government, and at the end of the day, give an example here in America. Joe Biden's son. Biden's son pled guilty, right? Yeah, Joe Biden said, listen, I allowed the people to do what they wanted to do. Donald Trump's own prosecutor went after my son, and he accepted a plea deal. When the whole Donald Trump thing happened, Joe Biden said, no comment. But yet and still, he empowered his people to be free and fair. Look at our country today. Don't you think they are talking to President Weah? Why is he not listening to Justice Minister Musa Ding? Why Musa Ding is not in the country? Yeah. Why Musa Ding is not in the country? Why Musa Ding saying that, listen, I advise you guys don't listen, and my hands are clean, and you'll disgrace yourself. So talk to me, Gibson.
If the Justice Department, as it used to be called those days during Tubman time, if the Minister of Justice and the security apparatuses were as free as you mentioned America, like the Justice Minister is now working at the behest of the President, if the President is not sticking his nose in legal issues, then we say George Weah is not part of this. But as I see it, he cannot be excused because there are so many instances of messed up, of legal practices that the Justice Ministry and his lawyers have continuing to do. They have lost many cases that they shouldn't have even lost, that they should have even taken up. Take the example, the Patrick Hunter Punch FM case, for example. Why did they delay the license? No reason, because George Weah did not want Patrick Hunter to establish a radio station. he instructed the Justice, the Ministry of Information and the Liberal Telecommunication Authority to delay his accreditation. The Justice Ministry knew that there was no case, yet they took the case, they went to court with the case, and they lost that case. Look at Yega Koluba case. They went there, Yega Koluba came out free. The $1 million case, they came out free. So when the president, if the president is not involved, when is he going to even be serious and say, hey, wait a minute. How come are you guys losing these cases? It's bringing damnation to this government, bringing
And
shame
that's
to
my
this
point.
government.
That's my
You
point
should
I'm
be
making.
thinking about that. It should be his concern. But Stanto, Josh, we have, and let me say so. Costa say he bobo. I don't agree with that word. But they say he bobo. So I don't agree. But here are the issues that are coming up. This particular case will take additional barrage of votes from George Weah and his CDC, because this will be seen as a clear manifestation of the government trying to harass the person who is even volunteering legal services for one of the opposition parties, a very prominent individual. Now, if they were going to do this thing here, they should have at least 4 different kinds of evidence that they must depend on. They must have real evidence, physical evidence, murder weapon. These are real evidence that you must have. Do they have the murder weapon? Do they have blood stain? Do they have all of these things? If they have it, they can charge her. Or if they don't have those kind of evidence, they must have some testimonial evidence. Somebody came up and said, yes, Madam Gloria Scott was the one who did this. She instructed us. In fact, she was present when this thing happened. She didn't say anything and she let it happen. Somebody spoke. Testimony, witness testimony. If they don't have witness testimony, there must be demonstrative evidence. How does it happen? Can we trace the DNA somewhere there? They don't have those evidence. Then they must have some documentary evidence. Was there any text message that went around that Gloria Mususka said, you know what, I little get too frisky. I didn't even let her business. And then something happened. So those are things you need to first gather. You call a press conference to demonstrate how uneasy for armed robbers to go into a house. Therefore, they have the preponderance of evidence that there's no way that anybody could have gone there to kill the little girl, and it must be Gloria Scott and the other children in the house that must have killed her. You call a press conference, elaborate press conference. You demonstrate it on TV, and yet you don't have a charge sheet. But you
real quick, let me ask you another question though. And before we go to our dear sister that Rich is saying, you called a press conference because of Gloria Mususka. What's the result of Valitere? What's the end game of that?
But you know,
when the allegation were made, though, of the other 3 gentlemen you arrested and you kept them in prison, what's the end game? I mean, but are you just jumping from tree to tree and finding someone to blame? What's the end game?
Don't you believe that if the Liberian people begin to draw the line and say, in fact, you know what? It is true that Jefferson Koji didn't kill the person here. Because of the blunder you made, you gave people the audacity to make conclusions they have no business making conclusion. They'll say, oh, they told Valley Taylor then all of they release them. Then they go catch Mususka now, the coach says she must go home. They even charge us. That verbal charge, they charge her. Are you trying to harass her? Is there an intimidation in those days? If this was going to happen during Samuel Doe time, I will tell you guys, look, gentlemen, this is business as usual. Because a military man didn't know the rule of law. He came in as a military man, he killed people and became head of state and then became president. So he didn't regard people in terms of rule of law. I agree with that. But in this age and time, a sitting elected government with a lot of buffoons sitting down, arresting a high-profile individual, and then verbal charges.
Thank you. Dr. Richardson, what's the essence of you going after her if you release her the next day? What's important? You went after her, you had a charade, and now you release her. You say, go home. We'll talk to you later. Just to give President George Manneh Weah his government by name, or you just believe that the president is just, let me hold my peace on this one. But what's the importance of doing that? What are you trying to show or prove today?
But you know what the court did? They could embarrass the prosecution.
No, we'll come back. Hold on 1 minute. Let's get to Dr. Richardson. Dr. Richardson, go ahead, man.
If I was George Weah today, I would be mad. I would be pissed. Okay. I would be calling in Musa Dean, wherever he is, back to Liberia. I will be calling in all of the people, the lawyers who are representing the government in my office. They are going to present a strategy to me as to how they can win this case or what were they doing today. Okay. But it appears that, this is not happening. He's not in the cause of the people, as the PRC government used to say, to win cases in Liberia. This would have been a breaking case, a win or lose case for our government, for the people of Liberia, after losing the drug case. And I mean, justice didn't prevail today at all. So what it tells me is that either people are thinking in a complacent way, because when you have people who just getting free money, they're not doing their job. They just, took over from somebody. They don't know their job. They're very complacent. The fact that citizens are in danger, citizens are afraid. This is somebody's life. This is Gloria Mususka's life at hand here. They don't care. First is innovative thinking. This is why we need young people like you guys on this platform here that can question things, ask questions, and say, okay, this is what we're going to charge her with. Do we have all the evidence? Like Mr. Jerry said, they brought in a big news press conference today, and I was watching that. They were saying, oh, you see this window here? You can't get over this window. They got bars to it. You see this door here? You can't get into this door. This door got a metal bars to it. Is that the only way an intruder can get into somebody's home in Liberia? I mean, what if the intruder came to the home through somebody working the yard? What if they came in the home through the ceiling? Did they do fingerprinting? Do they have the mechanism to do fingerprinting? So, it was just a shame today. And I heard the government, something that stood up to me when the government lawyer said today, if Gloria Mususka was somebody else, she would have remained in prison. What kind of justice is that? This was coming from the government lawyer, suggesting to us that, if you're a poor person and, you didn't have any clout in Liberia, you would be in jail forever, which is wrong. It's just very wrong. But he said that just because she's the former justice minister, former justice, then she was let go, which is not the fact at all. The fact is that they didn't have the evidence, they didn't have the charge sheet, they kept her, which would amount to cruel and unusual punishment. So, I mean, I would be pissed. If I was Musa Dean, I'd be mad. If I was George Weah, I'd be mad. So that's what my thoughts are about the case.
Fagon, it's important, and I know you had a whole thing this afternoon in your call concert over there, but something strange is happening though. And I told you on your show today that I feel sorry for the president, and you said, but still know why. Two things happen here, guys, and we just want Liberians to listen. The president, like Jeru said, know better. You guys are making me shame. That's election season. You guys will allow the Liberian people to vote against us by this nonsense. But the question I want to ask you, Fagon, must somebody tying their hands and their feet and say, go after Gloria Mususka? What's the importance of going after her today? What were they trying to prove, Fagon? That yes, it is not valid terror, the allegation is game value is false. That yes, it's not the government. What really they were trying to prove, knowing that at the end of this thing, you will let a woman go home. Can somebody get in the minds of Liberian tonight? In everything, you spoke to this woman over 5 times. You drag her to the Liberian National Police. Now you have taken her to court to prove what? And you say she killed her daughter. But at the end of the day, you send her home. Hey, man, if I'm going to help us understand, man, help us, please.
Well, first we must establish it was not the government that sent her home. It was the court. Second, if you ask me what were they trying to prove, the government was trying to prove that the killer was not Jefferson Koji nor Valley Teller. And he said, what informs your opinion? Because it is clearly my opinion. It's because from the press conference, the people who did the investigation, not the people who were out there to defend against the writ of habeas corpus or to prosecute the case, the investigators themselves informed my opinion. The investigators stood up in front of the board, giving a 3D dimension of the case, went ahead and showed how the whole place is well protected, and then opened his mouth and said, there is no way an intruder could have gotten into the building because the house is well protected. But then came out to say the 3 individuals left the building with the help of the security guard who broke a steel window bar using a cutlass. A cutlass. Not even big pipe, mortar pencil, but cutlass. You can bend iron steel bar with cutlass. However, if the 3 occupants, as he said, left the house using the window, what makes him think by his statement that the armed robber, the perpetrator, the evil one, could not have entered using the same means? Why would he think that way? But that was what he said. There is no way a person could have entered by way of an intervention. The second thing that makes me know that they're trying to protect Valley Teller and Jefferson Koji is because they mentioned their names in relations to Verdier. Third, what makes me think the scene is that as soon as he ended, the chief investigator of the Republic rushed to the board and said, mind you, the house was never breached. They had the keys to the house. None of the places were broken into. And the owner used that place to come out. Well, why would someone who commits murder not use the back door or the front door, but would rather use a cutlass to cut steel? Last but not the least, they made it circumstantial. Everything they said, they stopped short of saying the murder was confessed to, or somebody said something about the murder. Everything they said in their press conference was based on their own analysis, as opposed to the facts that this happened, this person said it happened, this person was a witness. He kept referring to them. But again, he said there were 3 securities in the yard, one of which was the relative, and it was the one who opened the door. As to where the other 2 were, nobody knew. Now, if you ask me that, I'm going to tell you they sought to do that. And like Pagos said, now you caught the woman today, you arrested the woman, they ask for habeas corpus, you go before a court. And Article 21G is very specific. So now the court said, okay, the woman is right here. Once you provide us with the prima facie, that area, then we, the court, will issue the writ of arrest and the appropriate charges. Bring your issue now. You got nothing. You had nothing. There was nothing you could produce to hold her. And because of what Article 21G says, Stanton, when it talks about the right to the writ of habeas corpus, and I'm quoting, being essential to the protection of human rights, it means you have violated her rights. So Lami said, based on what we know in the public so far, I don't think they have a case. Because there is something, when I did prejudicial law in college, it told me specifically that you have to follow due process every step of the way. So if you did not follow due process, a lawyer like Lami Kpagbo will pounce on it. And if the purpose of this writ is essential, as the Constitution says, for the protection of human rights, the court protected her human rights today. and they set her free, meaning you violated it. Especially when they provided, and I submit on this note, in court, that she was humiliated, she was tortured, she was illegally detained, and illegally arrested. All that thing the court considered. And then she's gone home. So it's Jefferson Koji, Valley Teller, and others, they were trying for the Liberian people to believe we're not the perpetrators. You don't need to force us or try to help us believe. You need to present the case, find her guilty, and we will believe. We're not chasing Koji or Teller.
But let me say this though, as much as we said here, those allegations against Valley Teller or Koji or some other folks, those are the same, those are allegations though. Yet that's
what I'm saying.
It rests on the Liberian National Police.
You don't need to prove that they are not guilty. Why were they mentioned today? Why were they mentioned? Then the guy asked the question, okay, my friend, what's the status of Valley Teller and Jefferson Koji? What was the response of the investigating officer? He said, when we called Jerome Verder, he said he just gave our information and that was it. So therefore, Valley Teller and Jefferson Koji are no longer in persons of interest or suspects.
Wow. So my fellow Liberians, that's where we have it. We're going to do another round on this because we got other story to run on. But let me come back to the councilor. Councilor, talk to us. A lot of, I'm looking at this politically, Councilor Lami, Paco. This thing is just not doing well for CDC. You may disagree with me. I don't think this thing going to help. Like Gibson said, it's not helping CDC. It's taking folks away from CDC. Talk to me, Councilor.
Separate the political issue from the legal issues. So, I mean, obviously, the people who will not vote for the CDC won't vote for the CDC. And, I mean, people should not vote for the CDC because they've not done anything to improve the justice system, which is a fundamental issue. They've not done anything to protect the rights of people. They've not done anything to protect life and property. They've not done anything to protect the economy. So there are a variety of reasons why people won't vote for the CDC and people should not vote for them. But I think we should separate the political issue away from the legal things because the legal matter here, the information available to us in the public is such that, as I said, it will be difficult to sustain any conviction in a proper court of law. And for me, I would like to stop at that because maybe they have something that we don't know about. And so discussing this matter will be prejudicial to all the different parties.
But do you think that if they had anything, Councilor, they were going to display it today? They're going to share in the court of law when the judge asks them?
They are not on obligation to do that. And that
in the court of law,
habeas corpus is not there to determine whether the person committed a crime or not. Because whether the person committed a crime or not is a different issue. It's separate from that writ. That writ basically is saying that this person is being held without charge. That what that writ is saying.
Is that the reason why the court asked her to leave?
Why?
Is that the reason why the court sent her home?
The point here is that there's no reason why that writ was even relevant.
Why did the court send her home, Councilor?
The court sent her home basically because it said that the writ was properly filed. But I don't think that writ was properly filed. That writ is not applicable to a situation like that. But the court has spoken. So
the court sent her home because of what? Can you say that one more time? Why did the court send Gloria Muskoska home?
The assumption is that her rights are being custody. But I'm saying that writ is not applicable to the situation I obtained. She was taken into custody yesterday They have 48 hours within which to charge her. They were still within a 48-hour period to do the charging. So writ of habeas corpus will not apply. Habeas corpus will come in when it goes beyond the 48-hour mark. Then you can file that writ. So that writ wasn't necessary. It wasn't your writ that you have
So we understand. I want to let people to understand when we open the phone line, let us talk to us. Help us understand today why the court sent her home and said, Madam, go home. Why? Simple form. Tell us, please.
So let me explain it again. Her lawyers filed a writ of habeas corpus that only stayed yesterday.
You. Who filed the writ of habeas corpus? Her lawyer or the state?
Obviously, it got to be her lawyers. It can be the state. The state won't be filing habeas corpus against itself.
So her lawyer filed. So her lawyer filed that. And the judge granted her, say, listen, you got to go home. And based on that, the judge sent her home? Or there was any other reason the judge told her to leave the courthouse today and go home?
No, but it can be any reason other than the judge agreeing that she's being held illegally. That's the only reason it can be. Because that's a purpose for the writ. You know, this is a technical legal issue. That's the purpose for the writ. So what my point is, that writ was one point, and the government could have avoided that embarrassment. They could have avoided that embarrassment altogether by not creating a spectacle. That's the point I'm making.
Thank you, Councilor. Thank you, Councilor. Eugene, real quick, I got to go to Dr. Richardson.
Real quick, but it's important. Let's understand first, Council, I respect the fact that you're a lawyer. I am a politician. Somehow we'll cross paths in school when we're learning these things. I'm not sure if you follow. I'm not sure if you followed the case today. For the first time, I myself came across something called constructive, was what the court used. The word constructive detention. For illegal detention. The court was able to establish, and like I said, that this woman had been detained on several occasions and investigated. And Article 21G says, and I quote, the right to the writ of habeas corpus being essential to the protection of human rights. Her rights is to move about freely. Every time you detain her or investigate her, you are detaining her rights. But I want to say to you, you said that the government, is what you're saying, could have avoided this premature rape. I am saying to you, again, that the rape was necessary because this woman's rights was being violated. But the point you are failing to tell the Liberian people has to do with G, which is when the court, when that rape is issued and the government can go there and prove that it is holding you for something, the court makes that determination on prima facie and then issues a writ of arrest. Can somebody put it on the screen? That's what the court asks for. The court says, give me prima facie so we can issue the writ right here. The government did not have it. And so the court let the woman go. It's right here.
Okay,
thank you very much, Dr. I beg you, Gibson. We'll come to you. Let's get to Dr. Richardson and we'll come to you. Dr. Richardson, go ahead real quick.
Let me just say something here.
Hold on, guys. Let's do this evenly, please. I beg you. Councilor, hold on 1 minute. Let's hear from Dr. Richardson. We'll get to you and Gibson, please.
I mean,
Dr. Richardson.
It is about leadership. Like I said, the buck stops with the president, and he should be calling in his justice minister to ask them what happened. Take ownership of this case, because this has the propensity to, to have people not vote for him or to create more fears in the minds of Liberians that our justice system does not work for anybody. So I think that he should be on top of this case as the president of the country.
Thank you very much, Gibson.
Eugene, the law is called constructive custody. It's not constructive detention. Constructive custody in law means.
Thank you. What a difference between custody and DT. That is it, man. Try your thing, not talk.
Let me tell you now. I know I raise it. Detention means you are at a particular place that it brought you to have
control. You tell him, man. Gibson, you told the man to change his show name yesterday. Man said no. So this morning I woke up, the man changed the show name. But go ahead.
No, but I said that, man, because if I were going to come and show me, you are going to go post about me.
So constructive custody for the people who are listening, or constructive custody for the people who are listening, means someone who the government has authority over that cannot travel because of a certain criminal case. So the argument from the defense lawyers today or from the plaintiff today is that the woman have been under the custody of the government from the time the case happened since February. So they have had control over her for a long period of time, which they have the opportunity to charge her, but they didn't charge her, and still brought her to detention and still not charge her. So the 48-hour cannot be applied because it is constructive. That's why the judge agreed today that the constructive custody will lie, and the judge allowed the woman to go home on the basis of constructive custody. So that's why it means.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Oh, Councillor?
The thing about the law is an issue of its precedence, right? And if you start creating precedents that you cannot live by, you sliding down a slippery slope. There was a group of guys that they arrested before, and they kept them in prison for about a week before they let them go. And there are many other people that do the same thing to all the time. If you start saying that the moment you call somebody in for police investigation and the person undergo investigation, then you automatically trigger the person's right to habeas corpus. If you do that, then you're creating a situation where every single person who've come before a police investigator one time will have the right to file the writ of habeas corpus. You don't want to do that. That's the reason why you have to have a properly functioning society where governance, especially the justice system or the prosecution of justice, is not political. You always got to try to get to that point. When you allow these political considerations to permeate into the justice sector, you on a slippery slope. Because I can bet you tomorrow, if it's another person, they will not allow that writ of habeas corpus to issue. It has really nothing to do with the merits of the matter. Because as I've said before, from the evidence currently available to the public, there is no case against Councillor Scott. So that spectacle that was created yesterday, that ran into today, should have never been created. But we have to be able to separate those two things. The political situation and the legal situation. We have to be able to separate them. We mentioned the two of them up together here. I mean, even though Eugene says he's a politician, but these are two separate things. And we should treat them separately, and we should demand that politics should not be mixed with the prosecution of cases. We should demand that. Because sooner or tomorrow, it will be you or me.
Thank you, Eugene, hold on. Eugene, hold on 1 minute. Hold on, I beg you. Eugene, hold on 1 minute. Hold on 1 minute, but we'll come to you back. Don't hijack our show, my man. This is a very disciplined, respected program. Don't do this to us.
Show again, man. Let it hijack up here making noise.
No, you're coming back.
No, that the Russians in the man trying to call Tabatali or counselor alone. There's the only man I went to law school. He got a degree. They call him counselor at law. Lamin Pakor. So we want to say thank you, folks. We will be leaving this conversation. I will give you guys 30 minutes each. Let's talk just anything you want to say. How this saved the government, or how would this destroy the government? I know Pakor saying that we shouldn't move towards politics, and thank God, Gloria Muslim Scout is home. But now the image out there, the optic out there. Let's talk about it. You have your 1 minute. Let's start with the Honorable Minister Eugene Lamin Fagon.
Can you put up what I sent to you there? It would help me. Or if you can't, then I will just read it.
You gotta send it to Damo. What's that?
I sent it to the producer. I sent it to you.
What was that?
All over. That's the Constitution. That's the law. And
Damo, can you put it up?
and good and everything, and it's Article 21F. Now, the second sentence is very clear. Quote, that means I read it, I'm off talking. Is that coming also? Quote, should the court determine the existence of a prima facie case against the accused, it shall issue a formal writ of arrest, setting out the charge or charges, and shall provide for a speedy trial. There shall be no preventive detention. They are talking about the writ of habeas corpus. That's just the second sentence. As you can see, I cut it straight from the second sentence. When these people enter the court, the judge say, okay, the woman here now. I agree with you, Lami, from the way things are looking, blah, blah, blah. Premature rape, I agree. But the court said to our government, give me what you have so that if there's a prima facie, I can issue a formal writ of arrest right here, setting out the charges, the charge or charges. Okay? And shall provide for a speedy trial. But you said, like Dr. Francine said, Fusa they put in her today. Well, what do you want the woman to do? I mean, the court said, go away. I understand what you're trying to say. We are not bringing politics into this, but we are conscious of the fact that the executive branch of government is there to enforce the law. The judicial branch of government is there to interpret the law. And of course, you know who the lawmakers are, the legislators. But we're sitting out here, and our executive branch of government is doing a lot of nonsense. And what happened today? Diamond, who covered the story, said there were 9 lawyers, prominent lawyers, in the court to defend this woman. And there is an additional 60, according to Diamond, 60. And people are guessing. They are not saying it's not a woman that killed. They are saying the way the government is proceeding is bringing the judicial system into disrepute. Because people will say government, but the law is the law. The judicial system is the judicial system. You don't come and play fun with them after you make your mess. And so they will protect themselves. But look at the way they treated the former Chief Justice, the former Justice Minister, the former Senator. You got nothing, but you made her take her a slipper. You throw her in a cell. You starve her like Gibson Jerry would starve anybody. You humiliated her. You psychologically abuse her. And you don't have anything. And like Councillor Pagoy said, judging from the statement he made, I respect that. You could have gone before a grand jury. But instead, you took her, made her take her a slipper, throw her in cell, starve her almost to death, humiliated her. This is the former Chief Justice. You saw how they treated Donald Trump. A little bit differently. On the fact that he was presumed innocent. If this woman is presumed innocent, why treat her like this? And so we have what we have. I'm ashamed of the executive branch of government. And I think, yes, politically they will pay for it. And if they don't find anything on this woman, Maryland County is in JMB's box. Now, no Congo people coming for it.
So we want to say thanks. We'll continue on this story. I'm waiting to see whether Councillor Jerome will call in. He stay at work, as he said. If not, we're hosting on Saturday. Folks, we're going to go to the phone line and ask the Liberian people tonight on this first segment their own thoughts about Gloria Muson's case. Let's take it to the people. Let's ask them. The mindset. Is the government in the right, or they think the government made one of the worst mistakes ever? So we're going to bring in Chairman Byron Brown. Chairman, come in, let's take calls. We hope international folks can call also, that we can have this discussion, because it is important. It is so important for us to have the discussion. on a very, 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 very serious note. Chairman, the question is, please, you think the government was right to drag Gloria Musunska to court? Let me take the first call from Musa Keita. Then from there, we're going to have the conversation going. Musa Keita, talk to us. Do you think the government was right, Musa?
The government wasn't right, but I think the CBC strategy has worked. The spectacle that Lamin is talking about that was created yesterday and today was caused by DNB and Alexander Cummings. The reason why I say it was caused by Alexander Cummings and DNB, if you notice in recent time, DNB has been making runs in Monserrato. Alexander Cummings has been making runs in the southeast and in Boncante. That atmosphere has changed to the opposition, and the CBC has to go back in the war room to change the debate. It has worked for them. That's why I've gone far for the discussion. They knew fully well that they had to go after Gloria Musunska, but they wanted to change the debate for the success.
But how can you say, Musa, how can you say it worked for them, but the image looks so bad? This woman, the woman's daughter died. Let me finish that, Musa. Musa, let me finish. The woman's daughter died, right? They're trying to find the person that killed the woman's daughter. And he arrested her and other folks and dragged them to the Liberia National Police, dragged them to court, and the judge just said, please go home. And you're going to say it worked in their favor?
Okay. The reason why I say it worked in their favor, it also against them for the intelligential point. We are understand the politics of it, we know that they will lose more vote. But what the party intended, I can say this for the youth league, they wanted to change the debate. Once again, see, they will not go for her. The moment the opposition had to make some gains, they will say again, she won't arrest. They will change the debate again.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Musa Keita from Minnesota, the United States. Thank you. Go ahead, let's take calls. Chairman Barrow.
Take this person on this now. Good evening. Good evening. Hello.
Hello, I'm P. Francis now.
Yes. What is your name? Where do you call from?
Oh, thank you very much. It's the title of this government that every citizen of this country should continue to suffer the brunt. But we are going to tell them, we are telling them that this time around, with all of the tactics, we make sure that 2023, October 10th, we will kick that out. They have nothing to show, and we pray that our former Chief Justice will be there. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's take this person. Good evening.
Yes.
This is Spoon Talk. What is your name?
We condemn in the strongest possible term the action or inaction of this government, the lawlessness they are exhibited today on our celebrity, on our legal luminary, Madam Gloria Musunska, the woman who set the country with high level of integrity, honesty, transparency. Every work you work, or blueprint or handbag has been left there.
Okay.
So they try to derail, to denigrate her effort that she has exhibited. She is a role model for hundreds of thousands of women in this country.
All right.
And that's why they try to destroy that legacy. But that diversionary tactic that they came on today to sway public opinion on what has been happening.
All right, thank you. We say 1 minute, and let me announce the numbers: 0777 77 1075 0555 1010 75. This person on this line. Good evening.
Good evening.
This is the biggest platform in Liberia. To whom am I speaking?
Thank you very much, man. This is Bobby Abumeska. I did join the conversation this evening from the Chief as the governor. Let me appreciate the panelists here for the show. You see, it's very disgraceful that when you have incompetent government, it will always make our country shame on the international community. Because how in the world you will go, you say you persecuted a person, this lady who is innocent, but you are leaving your main perpetrator that will consider deliver a senior matter, play by play discretion. They are aware, the government know who they are.
Thank you. Thank you.
The opposition committed power.
Thank you, my dear brother. Thank you so much. 1 minute. This person.
Yeah.
What is your name? Where do you call from?
Yeah, I'm Sir Edward calling from Abel Marjorie County.
Okay.
Yeah, you see, the government will not win no case because those that in their interest want the case leaking to them, they will not follow them. If the case for opposition, the great the accused that vanity they want, if vanity was the opposition, and they case finish, they say, oh, that they make it again, that they make it again. But being vanity linked to the imposition, case not go nowhere. And they get disgraced the woman for nothing.
All right.
They have nothing to prove in the
They
case.
get disgraced the woman for nothing. This person, good evening. Yes. What is your name and where do you come from, my dear brother?
Well, thank you. My name is Mohammed M. Kanenchion, and I feel great to you to that point, 16 on the Pujo Island.
You have 1 minute.
Thank you. You know, the whole issue that occurred today from the mega press briefing from the LMP office, I think the whole case, the politics that the government is playing with the whole case. Trust me, today is the 21st of June, 2023. The government, they have lose their case all over. Because the way they're doing things in this country, they're not putting the country correctly. They were trying to show one side of where they were trying to prove that they were trying to say that even the one about here, the other one. There was for some evidence that people were even expecting for the.
Thank you, my dear brother. You have to observe the 1 minute. We have so many people on this line. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, this is Spoon Talk.
Yeah, my name is Joseph Cabral, and I call you from Police Academy.
Yes, Joe.
You see, when this case started, when they invited Valite, you had Jeremy Freddy on Spoon analyzing how the woman's daughter died and how this and that. Now, Global Moses call have been sent to police station. You are not inviting anybody from the government to say why, but get to the politician on the platform analyzing. They know how government is supposed to prosecute their cases. The way you go carry the country, you're saying that in America enjoying anything happen here, we're responsible.
Thank you.
So what's stopping your official then from calling? And you open your mouth and call with your own phone. And I used to call on all the program there when I was deputy minister. What's stopping your deputy minister and your minister from calling? Like you won't get a phone.
That's all right. Hello. Hello.
Hello?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes.
Go ahead, my friend.
Go ahead.
Stanton, am I on?
Yes, you are. Talk to us.
So I'm Councilor Boyka Kane, and I know a little bit about law, so I wanted to weigh in on the show. And essentially, it is to speak a little bit about this thing about the habeas corpus that Mr. Councilor Pagwa is speaking about. He seems to be interpreting the letter of the law. And he is right when he said that habeas corpus is to release someone who is illegally detained within 48 hours. His argument is the 48 hours was not exhausted, and then habeas corpus wouldn't have lied. He might be right in the strict interpretation of the law. However, he has to also understand that not all of our practice is based on precedent. Sometimes there are new matters arising. So there, the court is using the adjective constructive detention. It tests a conjecture of the law. Say, for instance, I digress a little bit. You in someone's house, you agree and contracted that the landlord will do renovation, repairs whenever the need arises. And then the roof is leaking there. You tell the landlord the roof is leaking and he fails to repair the roof. Persistently, he fails to repair the roof. What he is doing there is a constructive notice for you to leave. It is not notice, it is constructive notice. Here, the court is saying there is a constructive detention because this woman has been held for at least a day without any charge. The lawyers, considering all that has been happening to the woman who has not been allowed to leave the bailiwick of the Republic, decided to file the petition for habeas corpus. Now, that being done, when the court granted the writ or the petition, the lawyers had two options. I mean, the prosecution, they had two options. One was either to go on remedial process, or two, to rearrest the suspect. But they failed to do so, which means that they themselves agree with the court, the decision of the court, that we don't have a charge, and so there is no need for us to continuously detain her. Hence, constructive detention will lie. That is the point I wanted to make.
Thank you.
Because the court constructively agreed with the petition. I mean, the prosecution constructively agreed with the court that yes, the woman can go because we don't have a charge. In as much as she has been around, we have publicized this thing, but we don't have a charge. So there's no need.
Thank you very much.
For her to continue to stay in detention.
Thank you very much. We appreciate you participating tonight, and as always, you are welcome. Thank you. Who do we have, Chairman Byron? Who do we have?
Another person on the line here. Good evening.
Hello.
Welcome to School Talk.
Yeah. Good evening.
Yes.
This is Tony Williams, and I speak from Monrovia.
Which part of Monrovia?
I'm speaking directly from Broad Street.
Broad Street. Why?
Yeah, this government is a serious embarrassment to the Liberian people. Judge Realize government has failed enough to the extent they don't have no strategy to convince the Liberian people that Judge must be re-elected. They are finding means to embarrass Excellency coming president of Liberia, Ambassador Joseph Mobwaka. But this strategy will not work because the Liberian man has made it. So Jefferson Kochi and his colleagues need to go back to their cover and re-strategize. Thank you so much for that me the time.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We go to this line. Hello.
Good evening, my brother. How are you today?
I'm okay. Welcome to Spoon
And
Talk.
let me say good evening to the panelists in the U.S. and my role model, Eugene Falcon. This is John D. Campbell, the political commentator of Tomato Radio Info, Norfolk County, based in Monrovia.
My dear brother, you have 1 minute.
Yeah, we follow the case at the Liberian National Police Headquarters. The issue here is the government does not have a case against this lady. The evidence that they are boasting about, they don't have one evidence. You know, in cases that they have profile cases that this, you produce all the evidence. Maybe probably they said the girl was starved to death. Okay, you produce that identical method they used to starve the identical girl. Made no mistake. This lady in question that passed up, lived with a woman for so many years, from high school to college. Madam Mususka would be brave enough to kill her own daughter. Come on. This thing has to stop. The kind of tactic that this government is performing with, it is wrong. You have other cases on your hand, on your desk. They are not looking through those cases.
Okay.
Those are the technique that they are playing so that they can get some sympathy from the public.
Thank you.
We have to stop it. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
They have
Don't
to
be
stop
talking
it.
again.
Full stop. This is Spoon Talk.
Hello,
Yes.
I'm Princess Name, calling from the number 3.
Princess.
Yeah,
Let's hear
yeah,
from
what I
you.
want to say, my people, they control our country. You start falling the government against we the first time photo. You're saying I am America, you're dead criminal.
No. I will allow you to flow, but when you use that word D, and I'm not going to tolerate that. Let's take this question.
And make sure
Good
her
evening.
number never appear again.
Oh,
She
I
be
finished
gone.
plugging it. I finished with that thing. I didn't finish. Hello. Yes.
Okay, please, I just want you to help me, okay? during the case of the Liberty Party and the ANC, who are the lawyer for Liberty Party?
Why ask?
Huh?
Why ask?
I'm asking you.
Go ahead. Your line is breaking up. Change your location. You have just 1 minute, please.
Okay, I'm saying the case between the Liberty Party and Musa Belete, who are the lawyer for Liberty Party?
Go ahead.
Gloria Scott.
They have so many lawyers, including Gloria Scott.
There were many lawyers.
This case is highly political. It's highly political. Into the position. This is a hunt for growth for what she did in her case to represent Musability. I mean, Liberty Party and Musability. It's deep. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll take a few calls. See you.
Yeah,
once
let's
you're
take
ready.
a few more. Let's take a few more because we have to go. It's almost 10 o'clock in Liberia, 6 p.m. here. But Baron, though, you got somebody there?
Yeah, so many calls.
Yeah, let's take a few more calls.
I just got an information from Councillor Lami. Pabo, he said Councillor Gu wants to phone me.
Thank you. We can bring in Councillor Gu. That's great.
So I don't know how we are going to do that.
All he got to do is give you the number and you will call him.
We'll call Councillor Gu right now.
Yeah, call Councillor Gu. Let him get you good number. You call Gu. Because
Okay,
Gu was
we
the
are
lead
doing that.
lawyer today.
Okay, let's take 2 calls. The technician doing that right in the studio now. Hello?
Brian, I have somebody on the line. Oh.
My name is from Corey. Please don't cut me off. Let me talk to that princess again. Princess, you know what good for you. The woman are born is not even there because if you're not on the radio station.
No, man, princess. I mean, we shouldn't do that. I mean, just flow. You know, let's take this person before we can take Councillor Gu on the line. Hello?
I got a call, Byron.
Yes, go ahead, Tato.
Go ahead, caller.
Yes. Hi, Dr. Richardson. Good evening to all. Thank you for your time and your litigation. Well, not litigation, but your talk on this issue. What I have to say here is that I hope.
Who's speaking, Dr. Richardson? Who's speaking?
Can you call your name, please?
Letitia Roberts.
Thank you, ma'am.
From the state of New Jersey, the Garden State. I'm calling to say that I hope that George Weah knows that what is good for Musa's past is also good for all of them. So when we start to prosecute them for the just cost of what they have cost our people, you shouldn't say we are witch hunting because they did us knowing that they didn't have evidence. And it was very sad to see what happened here in a country. You have $100 million get lost and the perpetrators cannot be found, but you want to charge someone whose daughter was killed. You know, even if you're going to charge her, but not the way you did it. So we know that it's political and you will pay for it. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
So we have the lawyer right now.
Thank you. Bring him on.
Councillor Gu.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening, Councillor. How you doing?
I'm okay, sir.
Yeah, I know this been a very long day for you guys, long 2 days. But thank you for joining Spoon tonight. Let's talk. Liberian, listen to you though. What's going on? Can you help us from where you sit? An overview on this issue with Gloria Musa-Scott being dragged to the Liberia National Police and that of the Temple of Justice, sir.
So I will speak to the issue today. I would not want to go into the investigation because the police already spoke on it to TV. But I will speak to what happened in the court in respect of the petition for the writ of habeas corpus. The petition for the radio habeas couple was filed, and we considered that petition to be premature. We argued that we have 48 hours to exercise our right as an investigative body to investigate a criminal suspect. Mind you, when this thing happened on the 22nd of February, the accused now was never an accused person. He was considered a state witness as a person of interest because she was like the complainant. So all along, they had never been treated as suspects until yesterday when it was brought in and Miranda's rights were read to them. Yet then, in our understanding of the law, the 48 hours began to run because they went into detention. That was the first day that they were detained. Now, I hear my learned counsel, Councilor Kane, talk about constructive detention, and he brings about a landlord or a tenant situation. It doesn't work in this case. The court, it was justice, now justice, but he was then judge at the time, Jami Kokwe Baise, and just now again Justice Kaba, Yusuf Kaba. You brought the person in as passport of that individual, and you just exercise a certain, even though the person was in the custody of his or her lawyer, that person was constructively detained. A habeas corpus will lie. In the case today, that was never what was experienced. The accused had never gone to the court as an accused person prior to yesterday. The accused passports were never seized. The accused was never told not to travel, restricted from traveling. There was no need exit Republica on the accused. The accused were never signed for by their lawyers. So constructive detention could not lie. That's what we argue before the court. But besides that, the petition filed says that the people was in detention since the 22nd of February. But then no action was taken, no habeas corpus was filed. You know that one ever since. But the true thing now is the accused are actually now under constructive detention. As we speak, they are being detained by the court through their lawyers. The court did not free them, they say go home. The court said the sheriff should turn them over to their lawyers. So when they need it, it is true the lawyers will get them. That is what we call constructive detention. What the court did today placed the people under constructive detention because they are not every time that they came to the police station, they went on their own. In fact, they would tell us to call their lawyers. They will come with their lawyers. until yesterday when they were read the Miranda rights and told that they were suspects. So that's what I have to say today. In the case, we felt that the judge or the court did not rule in accordance with the law. We raised our issue, but then somebody said, go upstairs. Hey, I heard somebody talking about VIP or so. In this matter, it doesn't change anything. You go, you take the remedial process, the people are still out. So we just decided to go and do other things in conformity with the law. And we'll act in accordance with the law and timely. That's what I have to say on this matter.
Can you hold on 1 minute while we just please allow us to ask you some questions, please. Let me start with Dr. Richardson. Dr. Richardson, you heard the counselor.
What's the point of having Justice Gloria Mususkat and the other accused persons to come today just to be released to their lawyer? What's the point of doing that today?
But we were not the one that released them to the lawyers. If we're the one that released them to the lawyers, Dr. Richardson, then the question would be, in place for me to answer. But we were taken to court because we had the custody yesterday. And we argued that you cannot check the chicks when the egg has not been hatched. Meaning, you cannot move for habeas corpus when the 48 hours has not expired. So we were never the one that did it. We were taken to court yesterday when they were detained. And like we do every other person who commits murder. You have him in custody and within 48 hours, he processed to court.
Okay.
Honorable Fagon?
I got two questions, sir. And let me say good evening to my friend, Councillor Gu. The first question, how do you describe a writ as premature when the intent and purpose, 2 words, of the writ was achieved? How do you describe such a writ as premature when the intent and purpose of the writ as petitioned for by the defendant's counsels was achieved? That's the first question, and I will ask the second one.
Okay, so let me deal with the first one. When a petition is filed, we will respond to the petition before the writ is issued. And so our response to the petition was that it was prematurely filed. We argued, the court said no. We do not agree with the court's decision, but we have to respect the court's decision. So by the court coming up and saying, and we're telling you, so let's take this. Why do you think the court decided to release the accused to their lawyers?
Because the writ was matured.
If we have violated the right. So that tells you that no, there's some balance that the court wanted to have, I think. And that's why the court released them to their lawyers. So they are actually now under constructive detention. That is the real constructive detention we are under now.
Okay, so my first question has been answered, which means the writ as prayed for, habeas corpus, was not premature, it was mature, and that's why it was granted. The second thing here is, I agree.
No, but Richard, where you go for? If it was granted unconditionally, then we can say it's not premature. But it's granted conditionally, so you can still see the prematurity in it.
So what's the condition if you release me to my lawyers? And that's my second question.
The condition there.
No,
That's
wait.
the condition there, because when you left your house, when you left your house as a free person to move anywhere. You were never under the custody of your lawyer. You are returning now under the custody of your lawyers. So your
But
lawyers
who asked for
control your
you?
movement now.
Who asked for you? You were in detention. Someone had to file a writ to get you released, and the person went and represented you. Who are they supposed to release you to? To President Weah or to the person who requested you?
But habeas corpus does not operate at that. Habeas corpus is to release the person. The person is kept in detention illegally. The person is released. They are free.
But that's the question I'm asking you. You are saying that the court. Hold on, let me ask you the question. You are advancing to Liberians tonight that the court release them to their lawyers. And I am going to ask you the question because the lawyers are not police people. That the lawyers are a representation of them as the defendants. They are representing them. So the court released them to their lawyer because it was their lawyers who prayed the court to have them released back to them. That's their clients. So how do you, in any circumstances, whether legal or educational, academia, determine that they are still in constructive custody when it was the lawyer who asked for them and the lawyer was granted them, if you want to put it that way?
So Eugene, if you represent a client in the court and the person wins the case, or you win the case against the other person, they will turn the person over to you?
Yes, because it was the person who took them to the police station, right?
I'm coming now. If you defended somebody in court and the person who wins the case, will the judge release the person to you?
If you won the case in court?
Yeah, if you're a defense counsel and you won a case, maybe a criminal case, your client is found not guilty. Will they release the people to the lawyer, or they consider them free?
They consider them free and release them to their lawyer because it was the lawyer who represented them.
We're not Eugene. Even Lamin over there would clarify this.
No, Lamin can't. Let me correct you. Lamin can't here with the same thing as you said.
No, Eugene, when you are free, or you are a free person, when you are acquitted, you are free. You are not, there's no condition on your release. You are free.
But that's the question I'm asking you.
The fact that somebody says, I release Lamin to his brother or to his pa, it means that the father has custody of Lamin.
We are not understanding you, counsel. I'm asking you the question, but you're not giving me the right answer.
Fagon, hold on now. Fagon, let other people try to understand the counsel.
That's why I want the counsel to answer my question,
But Fagon, hold on now.
My question is,
ask your question.
If the court release the person to their counselor or lawyer who went to the court and said, this person is my client, they are holding them illegally. That's what the lawyer said to the court through habeas corpus. The court sent for police people and Councilor Gu. They came. The court heard the case. Then the court turned around to the person lawyer and said, you are right. Take your client and go. Take your client and go. And the counselor is saying to us that because the court said, take your client and go, the person is in constructive custody.
Okay,
that's
so
my question to him.
So hold on 1 minute. Counselor, can you help us, Counselor God, can you help us understand, please? That maybe be very simple. Did they release her into your care? Said she's your client, we are releasing her under this condition, or did they say to Gloria Mususka, please, you are free to go? Which is which?
No, they released them to the lawyers. In fact, the sheriff, the lawyers signed for them at the sheriff's office. And in fact, the judge went further. The judge said they will be signed for pending the issuance of a writ of arrest or an indictment.
So it's Counselor. So is the lawyer standing the bond for Madam Scott, correct?
It's not a bond.
Guys, we're trying to understand something. Go ahead, Counselor.
Yes. Santon,
Yes, sir.
Specify when you say council, you gotta specify now because sometimes I see you talking to me.
Councilor Lafayette, you're right. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Councilor. Okay, so second, you go to court, except for habeas corpus. It's clear that the person right is violated. The court says the person free to go. You're free to go. There's no condition that you must go somebody go sign for you. No, free. But the sheriff, mind you, it was not the sheriff that brought the person to the court. It was the police. But then the person now is being released to the lawyers through the sheriff, which is an officer of the court. That's constructive.
Okay,
That
so,
is a
so I understand. So if they
constructive
need,
measure.
so if they need Madam Scott back in court, you will have to bring her back to court, correct?
Of course.
Okay. So she's still not a free woman. She's not
I mean,
free.
As people will want to understand. Well, the thing about it, we are talking about, it's not about Madam Scott or so. It's just the procedure, the things that happen. You know, the condition under which a person in such a situation is released. That's what we're discussing. Let's take up Madam Scott from there. Let's bring somebody else.
Thank you.
Today is her. But let's bring somebody else.
Let's bring
condition.
Councilor Good.
Yes.
This is Gibson Giroux. How you doing?
I'm good. Good, thanks.
Councilor, this case started, as you said, February 22nd. Up to today, are you aware that police have multiple encounter with Madam Laura Mususka?
I'm aware. All of those encounters was not a suspect.
Do you believe that the police have prima facie case today to bring her in yesterday to have her acquainted with charges?
Well, I can't go in depth with that. I mean, I'm of the conviction. Yes, that's what we said she was a suspect. So,
Councilor, honor your practice. If a person has been visited many times and brought in for charges, was it not possible that they already had a writ and to issue the writ and they will keep up issuing the writ?
No, but you see, look, if I've been talking to you as a person voluntarily talking, and then later on I believe that all of what you've been saying, I think there's a need that you answer. And I call you and I say, hey, all the discussion we'll be having here, but now I want you to answer for this. It's the first thing that murder. The murder cases, you don't release people, you say, go come out. No, there's no personal recovery, there's no bail in murder basis. If I say for the police station said. Any other person that you have in prison, all the people who arrested for murder, now, nobody filed a couple for them.
I got it. But is it not the spirit of the habeas corpus constitutional provision that you must have previously determined that you have? Let me finish the question.
Yes.
The spirit of the habeas corpus provision in the Constitution, is it not because you should have a prima facie case ready to charge the person before you bring the person in? Is it not the spirit of that law?
No, the spirit of that law is that you look. There are some cases that require investigation. So let's say, for example, a complaint comes that somebody, or you saw somebody running from the house, you ran behind the person and you found out that you went inside, somebody is dead. You let the person go and say you won't do investigation. You hold the person. Well, you got 48 hours to hold that person.
So do you think today was a preliminary investigation?
Wait. You got 48 hours. The law gives the investigators a window. That window is the 48 hours. Don't go beyond it. When you go beyond it, then you will go a lot. When you go beyond
here's where I'm going with my questions. Here's where I'm going with my questions. You are talking about, you're not talking about just an obscure person. You are talking about someone, not just a high profile person, but someone who you have invited several times and you have asked questions several times. This time, when you invite the person, let me finish the question. This time you invite the person.
That will not come. 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 That will not come
The person and all have been cooperating. I'm a witness. Because the person brought complaint to me. That the person complained, say, oh, that didn't happen. I'm a witness. I'm a friend. So we come, we're having that conversation. We're friendly. We're looking for the person. We're looking for the other person. That's all. You walk to the police station, you say something happened to me. You are the complainant. We take you as a complainant, so we treat you as a complainant. Until otherwise, until the day that we find out now that you're suspect.
So, Councillor, yes, I feel there's something fishy here. And I want you to clear my doubt. Here is where there's fishy. You invite the suspect, the alleged murder suspect, or the person of interest. You invited them the first time, you had an interview with them, you conducted your investigation, you invited them, you let them go. Now, this time, when you are invited them, are you not, is it not possible that the police was aware that they were going to charge her?
Charge her when? Yesterday?
Yes.
Well, the police made a determination to charge her to bring her in yesterday, not to have her. So she coming in as suspect. Statement will be taken. There will be additional information that will change the narrative from a friend, a complainant, to now be the person who probably could confess. A lot of things will happen in between the window. That's why you get it for 48 hours. That's why the law says arrest. The person is arrested and detained. You will get arrested, then you detain. Then will be going in for hours.
Let me finish this.
Yes, sir.
Liberians are concerned today, and if you were on the other side of the aisle, you will still be concerned for the same reason. If an individual in that high caliber first degree murder charge, that person involved, and the police have talked to the person a couple of times and release the person, gone to the person's house, conduct an investigation, and they invited the person this time to charge that person, a charge sheet must have been available at once. The 48 hours, under that doctrine, in my thinking, that 48 hours is intended to provide a window for investigator when a crime happened right away, where you arrest everybody and you bring them into custody. Then you say, okay, let's do the 48 hour. But a case is started since February 22nd. She had been invited. The investigation had taken place. And then they couldn't still have a charge sheet. And they have to, a rate of habeas corpus will be filed to be released on custody. The police blunder in this case.
The Councillor Gu.
He's still there. Oh, you think? Okay, I said you didn't hear. Okay, no problem.
Councillor Lame, Wako? We are not hearing you, sir.
Yeah, so my line open now.
Yes, you
are.
are.
The thing about it is the legal argument is technical argument. So if lawyers are talking amongst themselves, a lot of people would think that it's a bunch of gibberish and stuff like that. But I wanted to ask Councillor Gu, I hope he comes back on, who made a decision? Who made a decision to arrest Councillor Scott instead of indicting her if they knew that they had evidence to bring a case? Who made that decision? Was it a decision made by the police or it was a decision made by Mean Justice? We need to know that, because I think that's a flaw. You've been investigating for a long time. I mean, the law doesn't say arrest the person and hold the person for 8 hours before you charge them. If you can charge the person within an hour that you arrested them, you charge them. You keep investigating a case for 3 months, then you say you won't keep somebody over in custody for 2 days before you can charge them. I mean, that's ludicrous. It doesn't make any sense.
Councillor Gu is back.
Yeah, so that Councillor Gu tell us whether that decision to call the councillor in and keep her in police custody was a decision of Mean Justice or it was a decision of the LMP.
Well, it's a decision of the LMP. It's the LMP that does the arrest. So that Ministry of Justice.
But who charge? You guys will be the ones. So since they've been doing, so there has been no coordination between you and LMP on whether you will charge the people or not. Have there been no coordination?
As far as we're concerned, Mr. Pago, investigation, criminal justice has strategies. It has
No,
strategies.
but who you keep me talking
Hello,
strategy issue here.
Hey, go. I'm a point here to you. The thing about it is, have I done anything outside of the law? That is the point. When I decided to ask for 8 hours, you don't determine whether my investigation is completed. You don't. If it's completed, if I believe it's completed in 1 hour, I'll send the person to court. It is my right, because I will be preparing that person to go to court in 1 hour time, and then something back up. So I have for the 8 hours. I should not go beyond. Then I'll be following somebody right. Have I done so? That's the issue.
Yeah, but cool.
Yeah, I understand the sentimental. I understand the
forget about the sentimental part of it. Forget about the sentimental part of it. The thing is bad optics for you to have been investigating a case for 3 months, and then you say you got to put somebody in police cell for 2 days before you can decide whether you will charge the person. It's bad optics. So why was that decision made?
Who said, well, look, let me. We have for the 8 hours.
No, you stop there for the 8 hours thing. You must know the law doesn't say you have for the 8 hours to put somebody in jail. You must know that.
Let me. Who will determine now that I finished that I conduct my investigation? Who will determine?
Anybody with common sense will know that you should have completed an investigation.
Oh, you should have. Fine. So the point is,
but what stops you from doing it? What stops you from doing it?
I cannot tell you on this platform the extent to which we got to our investigation for the decision to be taken. That decision was taken. The question is, the decision that was taken, did we act outside of the law?
Who start that technical argument?
Let me.
Start that technical argument.
This is a legal argument. Let me. You talk about technicality.
Yeah, but a technicality
you see. Protect her civil rights.
Let's talk the practical reality, right?
But there's no practicality. They want the law. I acted outside of the law.
Can I ask one question?
The fact that the court has ruled you acted outside the law.
I got one question when you finish.
So guys, no, let's give Councilor Lami the chance.
Yeah,
I think you're driving somewhere.
Did I go against the law?
Who? You must agree that it's a bad optics for you to keep on saying that you didn't act against the law. No, but it's
after
wrong.
the court ruling. After the court has ruled that you did it, and you say
Eugene, don't forget about whether the court ruling or not. The point is, you've been investigating the matter for months.
But let me.
Yeah.
You agree with me now that the people. You agree with me on a consolidate detention?
No. How can I agree with you?
The detention thing.
No, they are.
So what's the point now?
I'm sorry, Dr. Richardson. Councilor Gould, I will allow Councilor Lami to finish his line of questioning, please. If you have the time,
answer my colleague. Go ahead, colleague.
Yeah. So the question is, and you have not answered the question yet. The decision to create that spectacle yesterday, where did it come from?
Decision. It's a collective decision.
Oh, it's a collective decision.
Yes.
So you guys at Mean Justice review the
a collective decision. It's collective.
Okay, so you guys are.
I have a question.
I have one question, please.
No, hold on 1 minute. No, hold on, Gibson. Dr. Richardson, go on.
Well, I want to know what's next. Are they still doing investigation to charge them when they have probable cause, or what's next? What are we doing?
What's next?
Yes.
Watch out. I just told you. I just said to you, Dr. Richardson. Watch out.
That's what's next. As we wait and see.
You know, whatever
not too long. Not too long. When we are now, we'll conclude the investigation and we'll take a decision.
Councilor, to Dr. Richardson's question,
and timely.
Was there a mistake?
And timely.
Councilor, was there a mistake from you, your team, in going to arrest? Did you guys make any mistake legally?
No.
If you said no, okay. If you say no, the question from another lawyer, he sent me this text and he wanted me to read it to you. Was that a negotiation between the prosecutor and the defense team?
Negotiation on what?
in sending for you guys to send Madam Scott, release her to her lawyers?
No, we resisted it. We resisted the petition openly. The court was
Are you blaming the judge that he make a premature decision to release Councilor Scott?
I said I don't agree with the judge's decision, but I respect it. It's my right to disagree. I don't agree with it, but I respect it.
Let me ask a question there. Let me ask a question there.
Hold on 1 minute. I get
I respect it. Because the judge didn't go my argument. So I don't agree with him, but I respect the decision. And nothing I can do.
Okay, then get to you coming now.
Councilor Gu, I want to ask that you have option if the judge made a ruling and you don't agree with it. Since it's not going to the circuit and going to the Supreme Court, you should go on certiorari to correct the error of the judge. Are you going to do that?
It doesn't stop the release. It doesn't stop the release of the people. So no use. So we just go straight on the processes that are available to us. That's all.
So
what is the essence of a remedial rate if you cannot make use of it?
No, in his case, the Habeas Corpus doesn't stop it.
Okay.
He's right.
All right,
He's right.
Yeah.
Say that again, Councilor Lamy.
He is right. He is right. The court has granted a writ of habeas corpus, which means that the people should be released from custody.
Yeah.
So if you go and appeal, it doesn't stop them from being released.
Councilor Go, are you guys going to issue another writ of arrest for her?
The appropriate action will be taken in the soonest possible time. Mr. Witherspoon, I can assure the Liberian people of that.
We received information from Moses Carter today.
Justice will be served in this matter.
We received information from Moses Carter today that she will be rearrested. Is that so?
But it should be rearrested, then it will be that she'll be rearrested under a writ from the court.
So, but
okay, my last question here. Go ahead, Councilor Lamy.
If you guys are planning to bring the councilor back into custody, why not just go to the grand jury and
the grand jury is not sitting.
No, but you got control over that, Chief. You got control over that.
Yeah, but so we're working on all the modalities.
Yeah, so what happened yesterday? You don't do it again. You don't do that thing that happened yesterday.
For the grand jury to sit is over.
You got control over that situation.
Let me ask you, Councilor Go, please. What's the result? What's the end game? Tell the Liberian folks tonight concerning Valley Tyler, the allegation that was made on Valley Tyler, something similar in that of Jefferson Koji. They visited the Liberian National Police. Can you help us understand the result from their allegation?
We spoke to the chief investigator, 103, and he said those persons, there's nothing to link them to the commission of the crime, so they will be released. They will be relieved. They'll be clear.
Did you investigate? Did you ask questions?
Yes, but their name is in the investigation report. Yes, said they was called to the police station. Questions were asked them.
No, did your team ask them? Did your team ask them questions?
No, the legal team, no, because it didn't reach, it didn't get to us. As far as we know, yes. So.
Okay, is this political, Councilor? Is this political?
Is it what?
Is this case a political case?
This case is a case of law. A crime has been committed. Somebody died. We are making a determination as to whether the person was murdered or the person was the condition the person was killed. Because now somebody died, somebody was killed. There's no doubt. But then you got to look and see whether it is homicidal. Yes, it's a homicide death. And then you got to see what grade of homicide it is. So the investigation will clear all of that to determine the grade of homicide. And then the appropriate charge will be done.
Councillor.
Our last question, my last question from my end, Councillor, as always, it's good that you come on our program to clarify these things. Seriously, folks want us to go through the network and just grab you. We won't do that because you are now in a position to help us understand. Let me ask you my last question. Have you seen any evidence in this case that Gloria Muson-Scott murdered her daughter?
Stand on. Wait.
Answer that question.
Wait, stand on.
No, man, why are you calling that show by?
No,
I'm not asking. I'm not asking you to tell us your evidence or show us something. I'm just asking you. Do you have anything that convinces you?
When somebody call you in after a long period of time, it means that something is smelling there. So something somewhere around there. But let me see what is there.
So, Councillor, I understand you people are still holding on to the dead girl's body. Is there a reason why you people have not released that body to the family yet?
No, I don't have. I mean, to that extent, I can't speak to it. I don't know whether they have been formal request in recent time, and I don't know the extent to which.
No, but do they have to make a request in order for the body to be released?
I don't know, because that's what I'm saying to you. I don't want to speak to something that I don't have the information on. Yes, at least when I get information on the status of the body, then I can speak to it.
Okay, but let me ask the question this other way. Just in case the body is still in the custody of the government, can you tell us why it will still be in the custody of the government?
Well, for probably maybe there are other tests that need to be ran. That could be one of the reasons why. So, but I can't speak to it. Let me not entrap myself. I can't speak to that.
Yeah, because I mean, in a murder trial. Let me just say something. I
will not speak to that debate issue.
Yeah, I just want to say something quickly, Councillor. In a murder trial, is the autopsy report that is presented in court, not a physical dead body. So that's the reason I'm asking why.
When the corpus delicti is not brought to court,
yeah, so why 3 months later? Why 3 months later?
So that's why I'm saying to you, I don't have information to provide to you on that now.
Okay.
Yes, I don't have information to provide you on that.
The voice of Councillor Lafont Good, we want to say thank you very much, Councillor.
Those are some of the issues. I'm coming to stand up for you, close, I beg you. Those are some of the issues that we had today, even against the judge. Imagine you file for habeas corpus, you're arguing, and the judge asks you, you're not released the day by the person. Without a day by the case, I also heard Fagon say that the judge wanted to see the evidence that we have so he can issue writ. How could a judge issue a criminal writ for whatever of the offenses that we charge the people for in criminal proceeding? Criminal proceeding does not have jurisdiction over the charges that we hold that we are investigating the people for. How will the court of criminal proceeding issue writ? So it doesn't happen that way. The only thing you do in habeas corpus is to show that you have the person legally and for a cause. That's all.
Have you read Article 21F?
Eugene, don't argue with the man, my man.
I'm not arguing, it's a question. You don't know the
authority. Criminal proceeding.
Have you read Article 21F?
It's a question.
To tell me the question is unnecessary. The question was unnecessary. Because you can clearly see the message, he can't answer your question.
Councillor Good,
your question was unnecessary.
I don't know,
but I have another question.
All right, guys, let's hold our peace, please. Dr. Richardson, go ahead.
So, if her lawyer were not going to file a habeas corpus, were you still going to detain her for, within 48 hours or within 48 hours?
We're going to be compelled to ensure that she's filed to court within the 48-hour period. It was not going to elapse.
So then, as a follow-up to that question, Councillor, why didn't you people charge her today? Because it was going to be in the 48-hour period. So today, latest tomorrow, you're going to be charging her. So why didn't you do it today?
Exactly.
But do you know we already charged her?
No, I mean you have not
You have
charged
not
her.
charged her.
Okay,
Nah,
so let's wait and see.
nah.
Let me
You see why you're wasting your time and wasting other people's time?
let me not wait and see.
No, I'm
Let me not
talking
wait
about
and see.
today.
They
Today,
have not
because
charged
the
her.
48 hours will have expired today. So why
You
didn't
see,
you
they
charge
have
her?
not charged her. Then he asks you,
Let
do
me-
you know whether we
Yeah.
have charged her? If you
Let
charge
me-
her, you think she will be outside?
You can charge somebody today, and because the person is outside, you're not able to process them to court. You can wait the following day and you process them to court.
Yeah, better let her.
Tomorrow, we should expect the charges tomorrow.
So, Councillor Gould, we want to say thank you. But can you
Thank you.
help us on your way out before you leave, sir? Please help us understand. Well, I mean, we've been hearing that since you guys released the folks on the 100 million drugs case issue, since they were released, they are asking for the money back. Can you give us an overview about the way forward now with that case?
So, Stanton, I will refrain from talking about that case because I want to make it clear, I was not a member of the prosecution team in that case. When I came and made some, defenses on the issue of the trial, the jury trial, it was all misinterpreted as though that I was on the case. I'm not on the case. So I would not give you any information on that case. The lawyers who were on that case, including the Solicitor General, at least can speak to that, the status of of whatever ruling or so that the judge gave in that case.
I respect your answer, sir, and I will push you no further. My last question on the Gloria Musunska case: have you spoken to the Justice Minister? He's the chief prosecutor in the country. Can you tell us his takeaway, his advice, the way forward?
But we run a paramilitary institution, and remember now, the Justice Minister is the chair of the Joint Security. So when we had discussion, you expect me to come and tell you what the Justice Minister might say discuss? No.
One more last question.
I'm not saying if you cannot tell us. I'm just asking. Have you spoken to him?
That's what I can say.
Say
All
that.
I can say, we are uncles.
But he's not in the country, though. Are you keeping him informed while he's away?
We are uncles.
All right, Dr. Richardson, take us on with your last question.
So I heard one of the lawyers, and I'm not sure if it was you, that said that Madam Scott was being released because of her status. Do you think that she received differential treatment compared to someone who perhaps didn't have the status that she has?
No, what I was saying is that you had a list of lawyers, almost 60, let me say, the Pagons, or Pagons there. Yeah, so the other Lami, not the legal Lami I'm talking about.
The one with the one eye. That's somebody who can spell it and they put 2 R to the end. What 2 R mean?
The one with the wrong spelling. The one with the wrong spelling.
I was speaking in that context. Yeah.
What context? I'm not sure you answer my question though.
I was speaking in the context of the kind of attention that is placed to the individual, the kind of energy, and I mean, there are a lot of things that happen. The judge did not rule in my favor, and the judge asked some questions that he should not have asked in the first place. So I would think that probably it worked. Yeah, sometimes it works.
That was not a good statement to make for our justice system.
Well, you have made people make statements out of frustration.
That's understandable.
Thank you very much. The great counselor, we appreciate you on the phone talk tonight. Like always, you are welcome. Thank you and have a good evening, sir.
Welcome.
Thank you. Guys, we got to wrap this thing up. It's good that at least Councillor came on and he fought Fagon and Lamin. I enjoy it. I hope the Liberian people benefited from this.
Can I be the first to do my closing?
Where you going?
Dr.
No,
Richard.
every day y'all say the other person they can make me. Today I won't be the first.
There you go.
We're waiting for you now. Go ahead.
All
you
right.
play there, boy, again.
This is the same kind of thing that caused the government to lose its case. And I'm saying this specifically because I just put something in the chat room and I would like for it to be uploaded. That is Article 21F. I will come to that quickly. When Lami came on, Lami referred to the rate as premature. When he came on, he said the same thing. I saw something fishy there. If a rate is premature, the rate ended up attaining its purpose and intent. What was the purpose and intent of the rate? You think you go file habeas corpus because you want to go case Gloria Scott? You file it to get her out, and they got her out. So I ask him, then why you say it was premature? That was a damn mature rate, and the people won. Number two, he said the woman is still in constructive custody because she was released to her lawyer. Who you expected them to release her to? Who requested that she be released? Who filed the rate? Was it Jesus Christ or Judas Iscariot? It was a lawyer. Then he comes back and argues that they had to sign for her from the sheriff. When y'all took her to the court, whose custody did you turn her over to? You turn her over to the custody of the Catholic Church? Did you get her to the Episcopal Church? You turn her over to the what? The court. We saw it today. It was reported. Therefore, if she is to be released, she is to be released by who? By the court. Therefore, the court must serve the record that, oh, on this day and time, she was signed for by her lawyer. Then you say, because the lawyer then signed for her, so she stayed in protective custody. Does that even hold water? Last but not least, I ask him, have you read Article 21F? Lami joins her. That question unnecessary. Lami, let me educate you onto the necessity of this case as by what he presented. What he presented to us was the court, the article says, every person arrested or detained shall be formally charged and presented before court of competent jurisdiction within 48 hours, period. Then it goes on to say, should the court determine that the existence of prima facie case against the accused, it shall issue a formal writ. So the court asks you today, E.g., my friend, you get evidence, you not get it. You get something to show up, you not get it. Then Dr. Francine asked him, or I think it was you. Do you have charges? He said, oh, if we have charges, I will tell you. But if you had the charges, why the court asked you for it today, you didn't produce it? Why you didn't give it to the court to make a determination on prima facie? Then you come up, you say, they work collaboratively today. And what he said, they were, I don't know what they call it, a combined team or whatsoever. Police people said one thing over there today. He said a different thing at the court. And at the end of the day, what are we seeing now? He's telling us that they have charges. And Lami pressing. But then why he didn't bring it up? It ain't changed. If we had charges, we'll let you know. The issue here tonight, Liberians listening to me, these are the missteps and the blunders that the Justice Ministry continues to apply. The police, and I'm waiting for Lami to come correct me on this one. The police does the investigation, and I picked that up from Lami just now. And then the legal team look at it, and they bring the appropriate charges. Police people said different thing today. Lami tried to press him on why they did not look at the investigation and bring the charges. Now, I would say, yeah, Lami keeps saying 3 months. Lami, please look at my finger, yeah. February, March, April, June. This is 5 months. Correct yourself. 5 months, they brought him between investigation. Till today, they can't tell or nothing. Even now, they can't tell or nothing. Then he comes here, he said, I think we have been investigating for 3 months. Put your finger on it, check it, 8 and 3 months. So the Liberian people are tired. And this is a complete miscarriage of justice. Assuming without admitting that it was Gloria Scott that did it, you say, and I agree with you, based on what we know so far, you don't see anything coming up. That's you, Councillor Pagoy. But I say, based on the release from court, the release from the court clearly shows a violation of our human rights, which again, Casey, does not conform with due process. Now, if I was a lawyer tonight, I would carry Gloria Scott to Sierra Leone border and cross off. I don't with my own. Now, how I can do my own thing? I'll carry to Sierra Leone border and that cross off. Go. Because look at the thing the lawyer said. She was not detained. She was not arrested. But like Gibson said, you call her every day, almost every day. You went to her and get her. You brought the police station, you investigated her. But you say, because she was not detained and her passport was not seized, I'm submitting to the Liberian people. Who leaves the country in the middle of an investigation? Even if you are told NATO or not told NATO, once you are part of an investigation, your sound mind will tell you you are being investigated to not leave. So you expect her to leave in the middle of an investigation? I will carry her to Sierra Leone border tonight, you will cross. Send that the way they want to interpret the law. I respectfully submit.
No, we will just sit down and listen to you. Just continue talking.
But I will wait for you. Not tell me to stop, I will stop. Let me continue, sir. Now, to bring the other issue up again.
Councillor,
Don't call me councillor.
I beg you.
Don't call me councillor.
We got to get
I'm going to
started.
put in and score everything.
Lami?
The say the rate was premature. Yeah. As soon as I heard it,
you started Lami talking to the one that
they will correctly tell Lami.
Councillor, let me go.
So I wanted to go in front of you. I have something to go to do. I don't know if you agree to that. Then I can leave after my comments.
I mean, you can't talk to us about that Gonglo thing. They say Gonglo was involved in the prosecution of those folks from Grand Jida during Madam Salif town.
Jerry discussed that issue because Gonglo was never involved in that prosecution.
Let me finish. The second Gonglo was the one that coerced the witness to say yes, he was to implicate the witness. I have the document over here, and at the end of the day, because the witness told the truth, the government had no other choice but to let them go. We have the full document. We'll be raising this issue. The second Councillor Gonglo, at the time he served as the Minister of Justice, he was formed to work alongside with the government, Dr. Richardson, and he coerced the witness with promise that witness will be exonerated, but the witness went against Councillor Gonglo. And I know the witness, we're trying to get the witness here, the gentleman that spoke and fought against the government, and Councillor Gonglo, please forgive me. I'm reading documents over here. That's what the document said. And Councillor Gonglo hence are not claimed because he was strictly working under the command of Madam Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. We have that conversation, folks. It's a big discussion. I was shocked when I heard
tomorrow, so we can be ready for it.
I was shocked when I heard that Councillor Gonglo was part of that conspiracy. I was shocked when I heard Councillor Gonglo was part of that conspiracy.
No, it's not. Just to make sure that we discuss. They spread the misinformation. Right? Maybe we'll discuss it at length.
Listen, and the newspaper said, "Cool, I was forced to lie." And this newspaper came up, let me direct everyone, because it came up 2007, September 4th. The coup that I was forced to lie. And it outlined Councillor Gonglo. And I respect Councillor Gonglo. He was speaking as the trial resumed of Liberia former Army Chief Charles Judu and Judges Koku. People that know the story know.
formerly the parliamentary speaker, on charges of having masterminded a coup plot against the government. And who at the time was the Solicitor General?
No, let me just tell you up front right now. We got our case, I know it at the tip of my finger.
We got to discuss this thing in its whole.
We can't leave it like that because the people that are watching today will not watch it tomorrow.
Like that, leave it like that.
You can't throw the ball and you go. Let me just say this for everyone.
My man, they said the man
talking about is
was tortured. My man, let me let my case down. I'm gonna close it out. The man said I was tortured by national security forces and some military personnel from Ivory Coast, Judu and Koko were arrested on July 17. Double said he has been arrested in Ivory Coast on July 5th. After he signed the document, he was taken back to Liberia and held in premises of the National Security Agency. There he was promised money. Listen up. He was promised money and the nice left outside of Liberia with his family if he testified against the two defendants. And this thing will lay out Councillor Gonglo feet. And listen, this is deep. Folks,
there's nothing deep here. There's nothing deep here. I'll make it simple for you. I'll make it simple for you.
We gotta say it's deep. I'm surprised I
can't tell you. Let me make it simple for you. The man you're talking about is Andrew Double. Andrew Double was arrested.
You bring it up.
Andrew Double was arrested in Abidjan by the national security by the Ivorian security at the request of Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. When he was coming, they issued him a new ID card and called him Mohammed Kone, so that when he arrived in Monrovia, nobody will know that a crime man Andrew Double was arrested. He was detained at the NSA.
Why was Councillor Gonglo position, brother? You gotta go. You said
I come in there. It doesn't matter to make him be solicitor.
No. Gibson, you gotta run.
Am I closing?
Yeah, but then let me ask you a question. Why was No, I'm wicked. I hear when they gotta start talking Tabata. What was Councillor Gonglo's position at the time?
Councillor Gonglo refused to prosecute that case.
No. I see what
was his position.
That case because
no. Just
what was his
Solicitor General. Okay, let me answer the question. He was Solicitor General.
Okay.
So before he was Solicitor General, Ellen wanted to prosecute only Andrew Double and charge you and release Mr. Koko. And Councillor Gonglo said, no, if all of them are charged with the same crime, we cannot release Koko and prosecute Charge-You and Andrew Double. And because of that, Ellen appointed a new prosecutor and Councillor Gonglo recused himself from it. He never prosecuted him.
Why did Councillor Gonglo, listen, brother, don't talk too far. Let's slow down. At the end of the show, we get 3 more minutes. Why did Councillor Gonglo say to the national media that this man was a hostage witness? Why?
Which one? Which one?
Andrew Double.
Andrew Double.
Yes.
Andrew Double was in the NSA when they asked him to lie.
I'm asking you, why did Councillor Gonglo say he was a hostage witness?
So what is it? What is a hostile witness?
Hostile, meaning he be aggressive.
Wait a minute,
what witness mean?
I know you.
That's
I know you studied law.
That's not what hostile witness mean.
Arguing.
What mean law?
Let me say the figure.
So what's the hostile witness? Is it the ordinary hostile?
No. Let's do this. Okay,
that's not what it means.
Gibson. I beg you, gentlemen, let's come to more and discuss this issue. It is important because when the story dropped on my desk, right?
We can invite Councillor Gonglo to make it more clear for you.
No. You guys enough. We don't need
no problem. We'll do it tomorrow. But let's do my closing and then leave.
And I will encourage everybody to go online, find the story, the coup. I was forced to lie. That's the title. It came September 4th, 2007. I will put it in our chat room. Take your time to read it. The document said Councillor Gonglo forced this man to testify, and because the man refused, but only to say the truth, Councillor Gonglo turned the man as a hostile witness, and therefore the government were forced to exonerate these folks because The man said, no, they promised the man money in jail. They promised him good life. They promised him everything. Dr. Richardson. And at the end, when the man came out, the man said, no, thou shalt not lie.
You said we should wait tomorrow? You said we should wait tomorrow, or you are perpetuating it?
Let me do my closing. The
Oh,
man
you said you closing?
Yeah, do my closing.
Oh, yeah.
Tell me what the
Oh, my
definition
God,
of
oh, my
hostile
God,
witness
you
law
closing?
for you, yeah?
No, I do my closing.
A
I'm doing my
hostile
closing.
witness is a
I
witness
understand you do closing. You better closing first. Let me do my closing now and leave this and do
wait.
your closing.
A hostile witness is a witness who testify against the party who has called them to testify. Congo call them to testify.
But then
And
on
they
that
testify
condition.
against Congo.
On that condition that Richardson, yes, the story here. A promise was made to the man. We can only release you from prison if you be
If you
government.
want to discuss it tomorrow, that do it tomorrow. You're not getting a chance to expound on it and then to go.
Gibson, hold on 1 minute. Dr. Richardson. A promise was made to this gentleman. You can only be released, right? You can only be released as a government witness when you don't testify on behalf of the government. The man said, okay, they're promising good life outside of Liberia. They're promising money, everything, because the order to nail, the order defended. When the man came, the man had a vision. The Spirit spoke to him, and the man said, thou shalt not lie. I will say nothing but the truth, so help me God. And the man said it, because the Gongo, as I said in the paper, listen, not me. I said in the document, because the Gongo was so frustrated, he told Madam Salif, this man is a hostile witness, and therefore we need to exonerate all of them. And that's it. We'll have this story tomorrow because I thought from my end.
You cannot say you have it tomorrow, you perpetuating the story and you're not allowing us to speak because when the people who are listening now, okay, let me do my closing. First of all,
you finish closing.
No, I'm closing.
You say you gotta
I don't say anything. I don't say anything.
Let Dr. Richardson go first. Let Dr. Richardson go.
Let me do my closing and go.
Let Dr. Richardson go, my man. With me first. Let the people Dr. Richardson go.
It's a sad day for Liberia. It's a sad day for the justice system. It's a sad day for, the victim of, the family of Dora Musu Scott. It's a sad day for our democracy. I cannot believe that the police took 4 months to investigate this case, and then they went and arrested her or brought her in their custody, and then held her for almost 48 hours and couldn't charge her. And now they're saying that they will charge her maybe today or tomorrow. We couldn't get a definite answer from the lawyer that was here. It doesn't add up to me. It doesn't make any sense at all to me. Why didn't they do all of this, get their charge sheet ready, take her to court all at once instead of, bring her in, then releasing her after her lawyer filed a habeas corpus? To me, it runs the risk of the accused receiving sympathy from the juror. It also runs the risk of them losing the case because the juror going to feel sorry for her, going through all of this. And also the fact that they're holding her order, that runs the risk of the juror feeling sorry for her. And then the government losing the case. So I think that, under Mr. Cummings' administration, we'll be giving more training to the police, we'll be giving more training to lawyers, because it seems like this is what is needed. So that's my closing for the day. And thank you guys. It was a good show. A lot of learning happened here today. So we'll wait to see what happens.
Thank you very much, Dr. Richardson. As always,
we are hearing that Cummings is considering supporting JMB. But
no, that's a lie.
We are grateful to have you, Fagon. Thank you very much. I got to leave the office. Thank you. I have to run. Dr. Richardson, I think you said you got to go. Fagon, you got to go too, right? We already
let's Jerry close. Don't do that.
Let's listen to Lami. Lami is at risk. He's in the studio. And y'all want to go? I beg you.
No, anytime that issue comes, we will explain and the people will
No,
understand.
you said some of the issue. You said you closing. Please close.
So,
Okay.
my closing is hostile witness is not just somebody who people promise money. In fact, hostile witness is someone who makes a confession to the prosecutor and changes his statement at trial. Then they declare you hostile witness. That's what a hostile witness is. So that man you're talking about, maybe that's why, maybe he confessed and then he changed his statement, and then the lawyer will say he's a hostile witness. So I just wanted to say that, but Councilor Gonglo is not involving any of it. But the thing I wanted to say, this issue about Euroscat is a mess. The government blunder, the lawyers themselves blunder, and Councilor Gu, if you are part of it, he also blunder, because there's no way 4 months, and usually it's not 5 months. You can't count February when you count from February. February 2nd to now will be almost.
You say that argument for another day.
Yeah.
I give him. February
2nd. You can't count February again.
Because February. February they investigated.
No.
March they investigated. April they investigated. June. So that I'm using the month.
Okay. Let me shut up, man. Let me come out.
You gonna run away? I will teach you, yo.
Let me come out closing. So look, I want us to stay on this story. Let's discuss it more and more, so that it will be, there's something in the Liberian media that they need to do, following up the story. Most of the time they just talk about the story and then leave it one time and then it die a natural death. I hope this story should not die a natural death. Let's keep talking about it even until the verdict is given or acquittal is given at the end. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. We appreciate you.
I will close by saying that we have to be careful not to be used by other people to slander anybody. The story that Stanton referred to, there's nothing in that story that says Councilor Gonglo was part of that case. It says justice authorities. Councilor Gonglo was the Solicitor General at the time, but he did not participate in that case for reasons that he stated to the government. So to allow somebody to come and say Councilor Gonglo tortured somebody and made a person to lie and promise a person money, I mean, it's not true. So to perpetrate that kind of slander is absolutely wrong. Let us not play politics with serious things. It's the Liberian people's lives we're talking about here. The livelihood of people, hundreds of thousands of people out there tonight hungry. We should not play politics with their lives by allowing people to use lies to slander another person. On the issue of this case, we have to stop speaking in our echo chambers. When there's law issue, it's law issue. Not everybody that will understand the legal technicalities. The government made an error yesterday by proceeding the way it proceeded. I hope they can walk away from that error. They've been given a respite. The court gave them an opportunity where they can walk back from it. I hope they take that opportunity and move away from this thing. And as I said from the beginning, the information available so far as it relates to this case shows that they do not know who did it and they don't have anybody to charge. They should continue the investigation so that they can find the actual people who may have done the crime and they can hold them responsible. Murder does not have a statute of limitation. And the fact that murder does not have a statute of limitation, you can say we're trying to rush to close the case. No, don't do that. Investigate, find the proper people, make sure you have an airtight case and you bring it. You don't want to bring a case at the end of the day that you will lose and then people keep on saying that you're losing all the cases. So I will stop there. Let us try our best not to slander people because other people want to slander them. Thank you very much. Have a very good night.
So before we say bye, we want to say, folks, the gentleman that coming on tomorrow, what's his name? Dr. Richardson. Let's run there and announce it real quick. We have this gentleman coming on tomorrow.
Yes, hold on. I got it here. Hold on.
And while you find out, I want to say to Councilor Lamek Pakor, you didn't win this fight. We have this thing that said to be continued because we have the whole document about Councilor Gonglo, and you guys got to come strong to defend this part of the argument. We just need clarity as to the position of Councilor Gonglo at the time and what was his advice upon exoneration. So tomorrow we'll be having
Deputy Minister of Public Works, Mr.
You say former, right? Former Deputy Minister.
Former
of
Deputy
Public Works.
Minister Roland Giddens.
Yeah, Roland Giddens will be our guest tomorrow. We ask you to join us as we talk about everything plus more. The Honorable Councillor Lamine with the 2 I, Pakwa. Eugene Lamine, friend.
The real spelling.
The rest spelling as well. 2 I's.
Wow.
All right. Thank you, folks. We want to say thank you, Dr. Richardson. Thank you, Honorable Fagon. And we'll see you guys tomorrow by God's grace. Chairman, are you coming on, Chairman Baron Barrow?
Well,
Chairman,
well,
how's the
this is how
fallback position, Chairman? Chairman, how's the fallback position?
Well, CEO, our fallback position is okay.
Yeah. You guys doing good?
Thank you so much for asking.
Yeah, man. Promote it. Thank you. Have a good night.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you. Well, this is how